Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is April 21st, and it is a Friday. It's our getaway day here on the Pop-Off Show. Joining me today is Joey D, Matt Hamilton, and bringing a friend of ours, Dave. Man, thank you for coming in, filling in. We were a little short-handed today, so thank you for being part of the Pop-Off today.
Yeah, man.
How are you guys feeling, man? Ready for the weekend?
Always.
Yes, sir.
That's not even a question. Come on.
Here we go. And I know Matt's in a better mood today because Toronto won a game yesterday.
Oh!
Not just one, not like dominating.
Island. Yeah, you got the old Islander Tavares over there scoring hat tricks.
Feels fucking incredible. But I'm not going to get too excited until we actually see a second round. So
who would you guys get in the second round? Do you know yet?
No, I'm not even going to look because I need to focus. We need to focus on Tampa. Focus on Tampa.
Tampa's tough enough, right? Win it? They've won it a few times. So
they've been to the finals 3 years in a row.
So yeah, let's. Yeah, I get it.
I think you get not Boston, right?
I fucking hope so.
What? Well, we're gonna talk a little Boston, a little hockey. We don't talk hockey often, but we're gonna talk a little hockey today. Towards the end of the show, we have a guest coming on, Alex Day from Overtime Sports. He'll be here. Always fun to chop it up with him. Knows his big New York sports guy. Rangers, Yankees. Although the Giants, I'm not happy about, but we can agree on a lot of the
New York. Come on, bro. You got to.
Yeah, you know I hate the Giants. You know I hate the Giants. But yeah, you know what? I'm starting to get. I think I'm starting to get out of this cold. I've had this cold for like 2 weeks. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to get out of it. My throat's hurting a little less today. I see Matt's got was that coffee or tea?
Coffee.
All right. So I've been drinking the tea with the lemon and honey all like for the last 3 days. So my voice is a little shot, but like I could feel the cold coming, going away. But yeah, man. We got a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to talk a little NFL. We're going to dream up some NFL expansion teams. We're going to talk a little coaching carousel. We're going to obviously talk some NBA with the playoffs just starting, or in the first round. So actually, let's start right there. Let's start with the NBA. First headline. If I can find out if Pat put these headlines on here. There we go. All right, Warriors take a. It's supposed to say 3-0, beating the Kings 114-97. Matt, feeling a little nervous about your prediction?
No, I'm still good. We're still all right. We expected this game to happen. I didn't expect Kevon Looney to come in and be like better than Draymond.
No, he had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And then, you know what they think? I think that what they're lacking right now is they need Clay. Clay kind of needs to step it up. I feel like he's been quiet in the series.
He wasn't very good yesterday. Wiggins was pretty good, but Wiggins was mostly just Steph.
Steph, 36 points, was hitting those big shots again. They led the whole game. They were on a mission yesterday. They led pretty much the whole game. And but again, I think Clay's been flying under the radar. We're due for a big Clay game. And again, Malik Monk's had a pretty decent series up until now.
He was bad.
He was bad yesterday. 4 points.
Yeah.
With Joey, what do we think? Do we think that Sacramento is going to be able to hold them off, or do we think this is the beginning of a Golden State run?
With Golden State, it's hard, man, because once they kind of get rolling, I mean, especially, you got to figure the game really, and it's true, like you said, aside from a sizable win margin, the game was really never in doubt. I mean, within the first quarter, they were already up 9, and it just continued to extend every quarter. So, Sacramento never won a single quarter yesterday. So, yeah, that's the thing. If once they get rolling, man, obviously Sacramento's really good, but yeah, if they don't watch it and Golden State gets on a roll, Curry starts hitting he's been hitting his threes. I mean, he still put up 36 yesterday. Clay starts, if he has a good game, I mean, yeah.
He's going to have a game where Clay goes mental.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, and that didn't even happen. And he still thumped them good. So, yeah, they better watch out. That's the only thing, man.
I think this is the beginning of the run. I think they win. I think they win. I think they can go the rest of the way. I think they sweep from here on out. I'm gonna call it right now. Golden State doesn't lose another game in the series. That's it.
It's definitely plausible. So
I think they go on a 4 game run right now and sweep them out from this point forward. It was nice to see in the playoffs Sacramento. It's been a long time since you were here before. but we'll
Thanks
see
for coming.
next year. Listen, they're a team to reckon with in the future. I think this could be a perennial playoff team for the years to come. Don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. They got the pieces. They're young. Sabonis and Fox look great. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're a hell of a combo. And and Sabonis, thank God his ribs are okay from that Draymond stomp, right? I mean, he looked
What a
okay.
rebound. The doctors they have in Sacramento are so.
I mean, because it looked like he might have actually lost a rib. So
you know what? It's the heart of a champion right there. He's playing through injury.
That's exactly what it is.
You on podcast.
Great point. Great view. All right.
I think you're giving a little too much credit, Matt. I'm just.
Draymond will be back. He should have been out yesterday, but he'll be back. All right. Then we got the Suns taking a series lead. They took the 2-1 lead, beating the Clippers 129-124. Do we blame Kawhi on this? I mean, come on. I mean, I get he's hurt, but I feel like whenever there's a big game, this guy just like he's always hurting a big. I mean, come on. If I'm a Clipper fan, I'm devastated that he didn't play. I don't even know what Dom. Have you heard from Dom? Is he okay? We need to check out.
I tell you what. I bet you Dom's excited because they were playing with no Kawhi, no Paul George. They were playing with Russell Westbrook, who fucking
and Powell had a monster game. Yeah,
but it's kind of concerning that Phoenix had that much trouble with the Clip.
They had all they really had was Booker and KD really putting up points. If it wasn't for them, that's Booker 45 points, KD 28.
So if I'm the Clippers, I'm feeling pretty good. They played a pretty good game.
Well, Powell, 42 points of starting 7 for 12 from 3.
He can get buckets. Former Raptor, he can get buckets.
Former Maverick too. But yeah, listen, he could be starting a lot of other teams in the league. He doesn't need to come off the bench. That's just a luxury that the Clippers have, and it shows how deep they can be when to lose a player like Kawhi and still be in this game. But that's what I'm saying. If Kawhi's not hurt, this is a win, no?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Kawhi will be back for next game, and
they said he's game to game from what I understand. So the question
that's my beef with it though. If you're a star player on a team that you need to be there for, it's not like, hey, we're up 2-0 and we're gonna steamroll anyway. Like Giannis can miss a game or two, right? Because there's not gonna be any issues there. Clippers need to be at full strength, playing perfect in order to be able to get through this series. If you're game to game, that means you're not really, really hurt, right? Like it's like I'm kind of hurt. I can't really go today. If you're only game to game, I feel like if you're day to day, you play the big games. Otherwise, I feel like you're just out. Just be out.
But are you on the but the thing is, are you on the cusp of making it that much worse and you keep pushing it? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's trickier than that. I think it's not. I don't think it's a matter of him just.
Come on, Gene, lace him up then, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, LA, call me, Bomber, call me. I'm there. You know what? Kawhi can grow a stack. Kawhi can grow a stack.
It's easy to say, yeah, dude should play when we're sitting here. I mean, come on, man. You don't know what it is. It's day to day.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's not as bad as what they do in hockey, where it's upper body injury, lower body injury. It might be bad. It might be good.
Right.
But nothing, right? But
yeah. Especially with knees,
this early in the series, but this early in a series, I don't think you force it, because if it is, I need one more day rest and then I get another day off, then you're back. If you're down 2-1, so what? You're like you said, they played admirably without stars. So
but like that just shows you. Like, listen, if they would have gotten blown out, maybe Kawhi wouldn't even have helped. But this just shows you if Kawhi would have been there, he would have been that extra little piece. I mean, listen, it's not like it's Paul George where he's missed a ton of games and we don't know if he's ready to go. This is Kawhi. He played the game before. He's day to day. It's a tweak. It's really obviously nothing like that's definitive. I would have loved to see him just strap it up and go, man. Come on. Who was was it Bernard King from the Knicks back in the 80s where he just leg was like hanging off, the knee was hanging, and he still went on the court and he had a big game.
Yeah, but I don't know if he goes back out there and he's already day to day. So if he goes out and he's constantly like fighting through it, is he going to get healthier as the games go on? No.
I wonder if he got soft with his time in Toronto, being up there in the Great North, up there in the six.
Bro.
Oh, you mean when we won the title?
Oh wait, yeah, that's what happened. I forgot. All right, but listen, Westbrook stepped up. I know that. I feel like sometimes Dom dislikes Westbrook so much that he'd rather lose the game than Westbrook have a good game. Sometimes I feel like he can't stand Westbrook that much. But Westbrook 30 points, Powell 42 points, 15 of 23, 7 of 12 behind the arc. I just think if Kawhi was there, we have a totally different conversation today if Kawhi's playing.
But Westbrook, the thing with Westbrook is he's like trying hard on defense.
Yeah, he
hasn't done that in fucking 4 years.
Maybe more. So listen,
he's playing his ass off.
And is he playing for a contract next season? Maybe that's what it is.
I think it's that, and I think it's also the Durant piece where it's like a lot of, and he's got a little bit of Chris Paul piece too, like a little beef with him too. So I think he's hyper motivated. He's got a lot to prove this series, or not this series, but this postseason. Like if the deeper the Clippers go, is better for his legacy. Yeah, and it's going to be. I still think it's going to be tough. I don't think he's going to get a big deal in the offseason because he doesn't fit on a lot of teams because he can't play off the ball. He generally doesn't play defense and looks confused out there until yesterday.
But he's not going to be able to maintain that over an 82-game season.
No, but he's still an athletic freak.
Yeah.
He still takes shots at the worst times.
Let me ask you a question.
He does. Sometimes he's all over the place.
It's like,
where is it a place for him?
Like, give the ball to Kawhi. It's like, I'm a jack of 3 with clock. Like, oh, cool! A 28% three-point shooter's taking the shot away from Kawhi. Wicked, good call.
Well, where does he end up next year? Is this? I kind of think he stays in LA. I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to be a Clipper next year as well. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. It's his hometown. The fit seems okay.
It seems like now, like he wasn't obviously stoked on being the off the bench guy in the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like now he's kind of come to grips with it for the Clippers. I don't know if that's just trying to whatever, but it's like, I mean, I get it. It's a tough ego thing when you're a former MVP and, Russ obviously thinks very highly of himself, but I mean, how many teams have traded first round picks to get rid of Russ? A lot.
It's about 3 different stops.
Washington, Lakers, OKC, and so it's the opportunities for him to be a big dog are going to be slim. Like he could go to a shitty team and rack up stats, which is kind of what he's done in his career.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he says, "You know what? I just want to go have some fun the rest of my end of my career. Let me just go play somewhere and ball out." I mean, he could do that too.
Pick a good team. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is a good fit at all, but I mean, the Raptors will probably lose Van Vliet next year, and I'm like partly terrified that they're going to look at Westbrook.
He would sell tickets to Toronto. You don't think?
I think he definitely would. I'm just talking about the basketball play. The Raptors like to move the ball around, and they have options. And listen, Russ is a good passer, but sometimes Russ thinks he's the best player on the court. And that's to a detriment a lot of times.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't hear anything. I'm just speculating.
So, and then let's get on to the next topic, which if you listen closely, you can hear the flat line. 76 is going up 3-0, beating the Nets 102-97. At least they made it somewhat of a game. They were close early on until the 76ers finally just took the lead, and they had a good third quarter there. But for the most part, man, this was – I mean, I don't think we came into this game thinking that the Nets had a chance. Poor Allie, she was at the game, covering the game yesterday. If you checked out on our Instagram, you would have saw that. But yeah, she listen, I feel bad for her because she had to cover it, and they're down 3-0. I think
they're playing with house money. They're, you know what I mean? Like,
the Nets,
they dumped everybody. They made it.
They're happy to be in the playoffs, and they're finding some decent talent with Michael Bridges and Cam Johnson. They do have some young. I mean, they're not your stars that they need to have. They're the good other pieces. Now they got to go out and get a star that's going to fit that mold. I'll tell you what, though, they've done a decent job on Embiid, though. No, I mean, Embiid only had 14 points yesterday. Who's killing him is Maxey. Maxi's coming out hitting 33 points 2 games ago. Last night, 25 points. But they've done a good job on Embiid. Embiid's 20 points a couple nights ago, 14 points last night. He's getting his rebounds. Don't get me wrong, he's getting his rebounds. But they've done a really good job on Embiid. Way more than I thought they would. I was surprised. Joey, what do you think?
Well, also Embiid has been he's been getting injured.
He's a little banged up.
He's a little bit gimped. I know he's a little bit gimped, but again, I know really nobody expected them to win against these guys, so I don't see this. I mean, they're already up 3-0. Like Matt said, they're playing with house money. I mean, they're just happy to be there, but there's
don't tell them that though. I'm sure that they don't.
Oh no, I get it, but I mean, the reality is you're still down 3-0, and it's pretty much. I mean, you can call it a day. You know what I'm saying?
So we have
she done.
Yeah.
Do we even get a Nets win? Game 4, just like
I don't think so.
Philly saying, we have some time. Let's just rest our players.
Well, they're winning without Embiid going nuts and Harden doing all that much.
He had a decent game.
He was fine. He was fine, but he hasn't had like a big game. He's also not getting the bullshit calls that he always gets, which I love.
No, and there's some talk that he might.
He was also ejected in the third quarter, I think, last year.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah,
so he wasn't even there a quarter and a half.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's one of those things though. It's if you say, listen, you hold Embiid to 34 points over 2 games, you sign up for that every day, right?
Yeah.
You just don't expect Maxey to go off for like 60 points instead. So,
right.
But Maxey's had, and Tobias Harris 20 points yesterday, I believe. So Tobias Harris, or was it the day before? But Tobias Harris has been solid.
It was the day before. Well, he fucking should. He's making $36 million.
Oh, he's definitely overpaid. He's definitely he's more of a he'd be better suited as like a 6-man kind of guy. With what he does. I think he's more of a spark plug off the bench than he is as a capable starter at this point. I feel like he was always kind of looked at as a future star, and he got paid as a star. He was looked upon as a guy that's going to be a budding superstar, and he never really hit that trajectory that they had for him.
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of just went under. He's a nice player. I'd love him on the Knicks. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of teams would love to have him. Yeah. He's not the star I think we thought he was going to be coming early in his career coming out. So
he also came up for free agency when the NBA had that big salary.
Oh, and everybody got crazy money. Yeah,
everyone got paid for that. So
yeah, and listen, the NBA is printing money, so those things are going to keep happening. So
and what they're doing moving forward, I think, because I think they've got a new TV deal coming up.
I think next year.
Yeah, and so it's going to be huge again, but they're not doing this one giant thing again where this one free agent class gets all this money, and then the guys coming up next year are like, hey, time to get paid, and it's like, oh shit, everyone's salary cap is full. Sorry, man, it's not going to work. So I think they're going to incrementally just kind of make it bigger, which is better for all the players.
I agree. Listen, I feel like even with my team, the Knicks, man, we're like one key player away from really being like a solid competitor in the East. If you look at if Luka wants to leave Dallas, he'd be like we're 1, 2, 3 seed at that point. We're right in that mix. I think we're better than Philly. I think we're right there with Boston and Milwaukee.
You're not getting Luka. Relax.
We could get Luka. Come on,
relax.
The Knicks, man, we want everybody. Why can't we get a nice player? We can never get the good player.
You guys always clear cap space for the players coming free agency, and no one ever comes with you.
You know what that's like? That's like, it's like, oh, you know what? Prom season's coming up. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna get myself in really good shape, and I'm gonna go ask the prettiest girl in school.
Yeah. And
you think you have a shot at it because you're all jacked up, right? You got some money saved. You got the nice suit, the nice limo, and then you get there and she's going with somebody else. She's going with Stanley
pretty
from
much.
the book club.
Is that a personal story, Gene? Is that?
No, it's just being a Knick fan and a Jet fan. Is what it's. All right, let's get into another headline in the NBA. Raptors fire coach Nick Nurse. Now this hits home, Matt. So I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good coach. I really like Nick Nurse. This was a weird year. I was really excited for the Raptors. I know I've mentioned this before, but I was excited for them at the start of the year with all these kind of great wings they have, and that roster just didn't click. Van Vliet had a bad year, and from what it sounds like, it's kind of mutual on both sides. Where Nurse is looking for someone else. He's been there 10 years. 5 as a head coach, 5 as a assistant coach. That's a long time to be somewhere.
But did he deserve to get fired? If it wasn't for him wanting to leave and maybe saying, "Hey guys, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to go," did he deserve to leave? Because if you look at what he did from his first year when he won the title, 58 wins, 53 wins, 27 wins. That was the bad one. 48 wins, 41 wins.
Well, 27 wins.
That was the bubble year. So that really wasn't even that bad, actually. You're right. Yeah. That was the bubble year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a nice run in Toronto, man. That's not
that's
enough to not get you fired, especially when you bring that first championship to a city that at one point before he's there, I think a lot of people looked at it as Toronto was a team that was never going to win anything because it's Toronto. Nobody wants to go play in Toronto. And then you guys get Masai Ujiri to come over there and build a team. And then you guys get Kawhi Leonard to come over there and build a championship. Until then, it's almost like Minnesota for all those years, you looked at it like Minnesota's never going to have a good team. And then they started putting pieces together and they've gotten players. Or Vancouver, the Grizzlies when they were in Vancouver, you looked at them, they're never going to get – no one's going to want to go play there.
And no, we never got anyone here.
No, you got – what was it?
Sharif Abdul-Rahim was our best player.
You had Omar Sharif. Who would you – oh, Big Country.
Big Country, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Mike Bibby, Michael Dickerson.
I don't remember
recent players, but not Steve Francis.
No. Well, Steve Francis wasn't good for anybody, really. I think he had a couple good years in Houston, and after that, it was pretty much a wrap. But listen.
Thank you, Nick Nurse. Appreciate everything you've done.
Happy trails.
Enjoy Houston,
right?
Barbecue.
Well, if that's where he's going to go, we don't know for sure. That they wanted to interview. There was rumors that they wanted to interview him. Yeah. This might have been Toronto saying, "Hey, listen." I mean, could this be the beginning of maybe a rebuild with Toronto? Maybe letting Van Fleet go. Maybe let some of these other guys go and just saying, let's just start regrouping.
Maybe. Like, I go back and forth on it because Siakam's still really good. Scotty Barnes, while he didn't have the second-year jump that you want some people to have after a great rookie year.
Still a good year, though.
He was still good. He was still good.
Yeah.
He can move the ball. He kind of regressed shooting a little bit, so he's going to work on that. But he's a good defender, works his ass off. OG Anunoby, if you can ever stay on the fucking floor, is a really great defender.
I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on from him this year because there was a lot of rumors at the deadline he was going to go.
Yeah. Well, there's some rumors that they're offering 3 first-round picks, which I know first-round picks in the NBA aren't the same as the NHL or NFL. And they got, Jakob Poeltl, I think, under contract for another year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. Maybe Patty could look it up. But
yeah, and then Precious and Boucher, they got some nice pieces.
They do.
Van Vliet wasn't good last year. He shot under 40% from the field, and like 34.
Now is that an anomaly? Is that something? I think he bounces back next year. I think he's too good of a player. I think we know what he is.
Van Vliet's a gamer. Like moves the ball well. He's tough. He can defend. He's a little guy, but he's a baller. I don't think you rebuild. I think they got some nice pieces. I think you just kind of tweak if you can. Like if there's a huge market for OG and you think OG, Barnes, and Siakam are too much of the same player, then you got options there. Bring somebody else in.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, they have. And I know we've been talking with Nigel. His problem is everybody is the exact same. The whole squad is the exact same player, pretty much 6'9" on the So
which I liked at first, and then it was just like, all right, this doesn't work.
You need a big guy.
This is not working.
But Gene, your question was, do you think he deserves it? I mean,
well, go ahead, George.
Well, I'm saying you're saying the last 3 years you're looking at under 500% winning percentage. You're talking.
No, he was over 500. He had 48 wins.
What from 20 to 23?
Oh well, this year he went 500. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. So and you got 2 playoff wins since then. That's just unfortunate. That's kind of how it works. Even though they won in 2019, it's just kind of.
I get it. I just want there to be a longer leash for a guy who won them their first title.
I get it.
And again, didn't have bad years. They weren't bad years.
There's no such thing as a long leash anymore.
I guess you're right. I mean, right now, I guess you're right. I mean, again, it wasn't like it was a small leash. I mean, it has been 5 years.
3 years. It's the 3-year plan. It sucks. It's that way everywhere.
But he's an over 500 coach. He's never been under 500 yet. He went 500. And that's it. The one year that I thought was the bad year, I realized you're right. It was the bubble year.
This goes to what Matt was saying. If management feels that they have the players to basically win now, or at least I'm not saying the whole thing, but to be producing better records and doing better in the playoffs, they're going to look and say, well, and you know how it is. Coach sometimes gets too much credit. They're going to take the fall. It's kind of how it is. So if they feel that's the case, then they're going to go in a different direction.
Plus, if he wants to leave,
that might have been part of the rule.
Hiring him is the best move because then he still gets paid.
Right. So
it's like, hey, you want to go? Okay, cool. You're fired. Enjoy your $8 million a year for next year and go do whatever you want to do.
And if he goes somewhere else, he might not even get that money. He might offset anyway, depending on how his contract reads. So, all right. But you know what? We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk our first debatable topic, which I have an elongated one. So I didn't pick 2 teams. I picked 8. So I did extra credit. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Extra credit. You can't give yourself extra credit.
Just like
I just did.
Like using the word elongated.
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
Guys, look at the book a vacation. Try your fairy tale vacation with our man Neil Shukart. You can email him at Neil, it's Neil at yourfairytalevacations.com. Instagram, Disney Universal Travel Planner. You can reach him on his cell phone, 713-817-5934. And he specializes in Disney World, Disneyland, Orlando, Universal Hollywood, and even those big cruise ships, Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Princess Cruise Line. 100% free travel planning, 100% free quotes. Make sure you check out our man Neil over at Your Fairy Tale Vacation. Bang. Oh, you know what, guy? I'm freaking starving, man. You know what I could really go for? And Joey, I blame you for it because I can't ever. It's like having crack and not being able to ever get that high again. I had the best Cuban sandwich.
I was gonna say.
I think we were talking about it the other day too. Because I'm still craving it.
It was at Sergio's.
It's Sergio's in Miami. I am craving a Cuban right now. Like you have no idea. Like the last week, I wanted a Cuban sandwich and I can't find anything good up here.
We are lucky enough in random ass Central PA that one of the locals has probably the second best Cuban sandwich I've ever had.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's good. This restaurant specializes in ridiculously everything. It's a sports bar that has a whole bunch of really good Creole, great Cuban sandwich. I just don't. Nice. Central PA.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a heck of a combo.
Dude.
Like don't get me wrong, you can get a Cuban up here, but it's not nearly as good as like the Sergio one, man. Like the rest of the world of Cubans.
Listen, there's just certain places that you go to get certain foods. It's just kind
of listen. Don't get me wrong, New York deli, man. You get the best subs up here in New York deli. But I'll be honest with you, man. When I stayed in Florida, man, Publix made a pretty good sandwich for down south, man. Publix made a pretty good sandwich.
Listen, you guys have Wawa?
We don't have Wawas. We have a quick check.
Let's not get into this Sheetz Wawa BS here, bro.
Dude, what else I could go for right now? Listen, I could go for a 12-inch Italian right about now too. So
that's what she said.
Are we still talking about food? I'm just wondering.
Who doesn't love a 12-inch Italian? This is how I copy that. That's a soundbite. All right, guys. Let's get into our
what the hell is going on?
NFL expansion. He's like freaking Americans. Let's start over with Dave. You've been quiet. Let's start with you. Give me two cities for an expansion.
I have, and I thought about this, and I'm not exactly sure where it drops, but there needs to be a third team in Texas. You have
team in Texas.
Either San Antonio or Austin. To be honest, you have a lot of people migrating to Texas from California, wherever, right? Tax haven, all that stuff. Austin's popping off, dude, and it would not surprise me if it were on the short list. San Antonio's one. You still have you have a sports base there as well. But definitely third team in Texas. It makes no sense to me why there hasn't been one. Other one, and I really couldn't. I don't know where else. Like it's somewhere in the middle. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. What the hell am I talking about? St. Louis. Why are you taking a team out of St. Louis, put them back in St. Louis?
I agree.
And make them the Rams.
Well, the Rams are already in LA. You can't do that. But yeah, I agree. St. Louis is one of those teams. And San Antonio, I feel like whenever they have a sports, like one of these other NFL sports leagues, these NFL leagues, USFL, I don't know who has a San Antonio team right now. If either of them do.
It's the Bulls, right? The Brahmas.
The Brahmas.
Right?
I always feel like every time they do one of these leagues, there's always a team in San Antonio. Remember the World League of American Football back in the 90s had a San Antonio team. And those are markets I think that would definitely hold up well for an NFL team. I think they're thirsty for it down there too.
Right.
Joey, what do you got? What cities?
I'm thinking for my first one, I'm thinking Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm thinking Columbus, Ohio. I know that I know.
Oh! They already got 2 teams, but here's why I agree with you. But the 2 teams they have are AFC teams. They need an NFC representation.
An NFC representation, and maybe to kind of shed some of that juju they got over there. I don't know. Maybe don't paint them brown. Don't call them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. And then honestly, I'm gonna go outside, and I'm thinking possibly like UK, like London. And I know we were talking about the States, but I'm thinking an expansion would be.
It could be wherever. It could be wherever. I got some international flavor.
Probably a pretty cool place to do that.
So I don't even think that it would be an expansion. I think Jacksonville just moves 100%.
There's been so much talk of that.
I've been on that bandwagon for a while.
I think that's too far of a. I mean, they make such a big deal when they send a team there now. To have teams go there every week and one team play there and go back and forth to the. That's a lot,
and
it's not a home field advantage.
But it's
anymore.
not.
You got to go back.
Really
and forth
not
every week.
because you could have them go there. You keep them in the East. You realign it. We've talked about this. Gene.
Realignment should happen. I think
you realign it. You put Jacksonville in the AFC Northeast, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
But team flies to them. Next week is bye. That's it. When they come across, they're here for a month. That's it. And you could do it. You could do it and make it fair.
I
feel like there's so many bells and whistles just to put a team there at this point. Unless they can have them. What's that plane that gets there?
The NFL likes bells and whistles, and they have a lot of them.
They do.
They unfortunately have too many damn bells and whistles.
But what's that plane that gets you to the UK in like 3 hours?
The new Concorde that's coming out.
Maybe if they got to set up with something like that, maybe if they set up with like that, so it's not that long of a flight. I agree with it.
Yeah, because I think
it's not that much difference than an East Coast team going west, right?
It's not.
They need to stop the international games. If you're going to put a team there, have them as a home field and have another team travel to them.
Like you can't be half pregnant either.
They got to stop that crap because I can't stand it. Your teams are losing home games. They only play 16 as it is. It's just ridiculous.
So I think they need to go to 18. They need to have an even amount anyway. And I think this is just the first step. I think this is definitely. I can't stand it because
any one of us, I don't care when it's not my team, but when it's my team, it ticks me off. And you have both teams losing home games.
The only part that I like about the London games is that football, which Matt will already know. I already know he loves it, but we don't get it on the East Coast. We get to wake up to football. And there's a game at like 9:00 in the morning. That's the good part about it for me. That I'm going to see a game as soon as I wake up. There's a game I don't have to wait till 1:00. I know Matt already gets that on the West Coast, so he knows what it's like.
But I mean, it's kind of weird. Conversely, it sucks for me because it's 6 in the morning. And listen, I don't give a shit who's fucking playing.
You're like, I'm not ready for football this time.
You're not going to be there for the Cowboys? Cowboys are playing in London. You're not there?
Yeah, okay, I'll get up. Yeah, I will. But that's the only one. Like 6 in the morning, and then you have a whole day. Like that's I guess I'm on my couch for most of the day, so I can probably make it work, but it's not ideal. And also you run into the things where sometimes you forget there's a London game, and you're like, you wake up and you're like, oh, cool. Kamara was pulled last minute because he tweaked a hamstring, and he's in my starting lineup at my fantasy. Wicked, awesome.
There you go.
That's the part that sucks.
Yeah. I'll say my two. I'll make it quick, but I'm going to say London, not because I think it should be there, but I think the league really wants a team there.
Yeah.
And to what Dave said, there's a way to work around the jet lag and stuff like that with bye weeks, and then just have the team come over a month at a time and play 4 in a row. And I'm going to say this. I think, I probably think it makes more sense to have another team in the Midwest or the Texas, like the heart of football country. But I'm just going to say Toronto, just to have a team in Canada.
Yep.
I don't like, there's not really anywhere. The problem with downtown Toronto is there's not a lot of, there's no like tailgate spot. Right. It's so cranked down there.
You'd have to build something for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Seattle's kind of the same way. Seattle doesn't really have their tailgate parking lot thing anymore either. You have to go like up alleys. And they put the huge parking lot. They put like a big giant condo building got built there like years and years ago. So I remember I had a tailgating like 20 years ago down there, and it was crazy. But now everything's all separated up alleys and small pockets of stuff like that. But I'll say Toronto just because I think it'd be fun.
Well, I got mine, and I got 8 teams. I added a team to each division. So I actually did, and it did some realignment.
Did you say 8, Gene?
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna change the. I went in a little bit in it because when I started to come up with ideas, like Roger Goodell really needs to speak to me. He really needs to see what's going on because I figure, all right, we're gonna up it to 18 games so that way these teams can fit. Also, let's make every division even. Every division gets a team, so we keep the 5 teams a division now. So here's my AFC West team. Right, this is the first one to start with. This is the biggest. Whenever they go to this city and they do an international game here, it crushes. It sells out. It's 100,000 fans come to these games. Mexico City should have. If we're talking international, Mexico City always supports every time they ever come to Mexico City. And you know what? It would be a great natural rivalry with the Raiders. There's already I feel like the Raiders are already like a popular team in Mexico. Could you imagine now having their own team and right across you got Vegas, right? Not too far from there. And now you have that basically that natural rivalry with the distance there. So I have Mexico City in the AFC West to build that natural rivalry with the Raiders in Vegas. In the NFC West, I'm bringing one over to Matt Hamilton. I'm giving Vancouver a team. So you're gonna get your own team. So now you don't have to worry about rooting for the Cowboys anymore. You can actually maybe root for a good team now. So you won't have to worry about those Cowboys. So you're gonna get Vancouver. And again, they can that builds a nice natural rivalry with Seattle. You got Seattle up there, the Seahawks. All right, then I'm going to go to the NFC. Let's stay in the NFC. Let's go to the NFC South. Birmingham, Alabama is such a great football town. Whenever you see these other leagues come out, they always put out a team in Birmingham. They got a great tradition with the college down there. I think pro football will be very well accepted. So I got Birmingham, Alabama as my NFC South team. My NFC North team, I take one from Joey. I have Columbus. You know what? AFC is represented in Ohio. NFC is not. Columbus is still a very big city, a very good sports town. They obviously they put a hockey team there. That's how you know it's good enough.
Can I add on right there? I mean, how about you go a little bit further east and drop it in Canton?
Well, can Canton support a team?
It's 45 minutes from Columbus, dude. It's not far. I think I don't know. It'd be close. It's in between.
It's also, but isn't it also very close to Cleveland? It's only like 15 minutes from Cleveland.
No, it's not 15 minutes from Cleveland.
Because I saw a draft day and they said 15 minutes away from Cleveland is Canton. Did they lie?
If you fly in a helicopter.
Did draft day lie to me?
Yeah, it did.
See, I don't even know what to believe anymore.
Ohio, I'm checking right now.
You check it out.
Apologize now.
I know we need Kevin Costner. We need to get him on board.
Get Costner on the show.
1 hour and 4 minutes from Canton to downtown Cleveland.
Oh, they lied. They said it was like a 20 minutes. 20. Okay. By the way, great movie.
By the way, while we're talking about maps, I want you to know that Las Vegas to Mexico City is a 31-hour drive.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is both of this. It seemed closer. It's closer to Mexico. I think that's really what it was.
Yeah, you're like they're real close. I'm like, it's kind of like 15 minutes to Cleveland from Canton.
All right, well there you go. But all right, so NFC East.
Just call me Randy McNally. I'll shut up now.
I put a team in Orlando. NFC East doesn't have a representation there. I think it could be a great city for some representation for the NFL. So I put the NFC East in Orlando. Gives them some Southeast representation for the NFC East. Back over to the AFC in the East. Because my North and South I have a little bit of realignment there too. So my team in the AFC East is I either go Montreal or Toronto, and I leave it up to Matt to tell me who would support a NFL team better. I know Toronto's close to Buffalo, so you could have that natural rivalry with Buffalo. But is it too close? Does Montreal seem like a better fit?
Montreal would be a lot of fun. Let's go Montreal. Let's mix it up a bit because that's
a
real.
So I'm going to take Toronto out, and we're going to go Montreal. They'll have a home field advantage because there's a lot of trouble games up there. It's kind of like the Vegas of Canada, no?
Yeah, I mean their hockey team can go fuck themselves, but the city's a lot of fun.
I think they did this year. Actually, I think they did this year.
Yeah, they actually did. That city's a lot of fun. It's really really cool.
All right, so the only team that doesn't get an expansion, the only division that doesn't get an expansion team in my expansion/realignment is the AFC North. And why I do that is I take a team out of the South and I put it in the North. Indianapolis is not really that South, right? Yeah. I take them and I put them in the AFC North. So that way, Dave, you're gonna have to go deal with them with your Steelers, the Ravens. Also, Indianapolis has that
the hatred for Baltimore. Yeah,
the hatred for Baltimore, right? So they already got that kind of that rivalry right there with the Baltimore Colts from when they used to be there. And what I do is in the South now, there are teams short in the South. I give them OKC and one or the other, either a St. Louis or a San Antonio, or any combination of those three. But OKC, San Antonio, or St. Louis, I feel like would be great there. I didn't think Austin. You're right. That's probably a really great city for it. But I think OKC, and I think if the NFL does do an expansion, I think they need. And you're not going to add 8 teams in 1 year. I get it, but you got to do something with maybe 2 teams in a year, and then 2 years later another 2 teams. You got to have give me a 15-year plan, and then add 2 teams periodically through the 15 years. I think that
on the next quarter. Are you serious?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think
that's a lot of teams. Yeah.
But why can't it be done? Why can't it be done?
I said it's a lot of teams. Now you got to now fill those rosters. How many rosters are going to be black? Because you only have so many players.
Dude, I say this, and GMs, do your job. Do your job. We made your job easier. Do your job.
That's them to figure out.
To be honest, though, you're talking about XFL and USFL this year. You look at the number of people on those rosters and the amount of teams that are there. If you're telling me that between that expansion on the draft and expansion draft, older players, and you realize that there's more than 210 good. Is that what it would be for the draft? Right, 210.
I forgot what.
Like that, yeah.
There's more than 250 good players that go every year from Division I schools.
Oh, so there is. Of course there is.
You could do it. What would be absolutely crazy is if they just went fantasy football on the whole thing, blew the whole thing up. All the teams are what they are, started over. It would be probably one of the absolute best marketing plays.
You mean totally redraft everybody?
Draft the entire league all over again.
That would be disgusting. I don't know if that'd be mayhem.
It would be marketing genius, dude. Could you imagine all of the talk leading up to that year? Joey, the last real Super Bowl before the NFL Super PAC starts.
Super PAC.
I don't know. I can't. I think that's a little. Listen, I thought my idea was crazy. I think you've now tipped my. I think you've gone over a little bit.
Blue sky here, man. See what we can do.
That's chaos, baby.
Yeah.
But all right. What do you guys think about realignment?
The NFL is getting stale. 100%. I give absolutely 0 Fs about the NFL in comparison to college football right now. I really do. I know it's one of the best products out there entertainment-wise, but it's really not. The NBA is up and coming.
It's only going to get bigger.
It's only going to get bigger. And unless the NFL decides to do something like the XFL with the right components could give it a run for its money. I know people think I'm crazy when I say this, but Dwayne Johnson is not a shit businessman.
No.
So tell that to Black Adam.
He didn't write it. And just because he's a bad actor doesn't mean that he's not a good businessman.
Actor.
Yeah.
I would push back on that in a sense. I don't think the NFL is worried about anything.
I know they're not. That's the issue.
Their Thursday night ratings in the NBA Finals last year. No, it wasn't the NBA Finals. It was, what the hell was it? It was a giant NBA game. Was it the opening week? I can't remember what it was, but a shitty Thursday night game still outdrew a prestige NBA game.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the thing. The NFL is going to rest on their laurels until it's too late.
Yeah,
just is.
How'd you like my argument though? I brought up no evidence. A memory of something. I'm like, I know this is something, but
he's like, there's a game that happened. I think it was a basketball game.
Yeah.
It might have been you.
Just trust me.
The G League. Listen, but I think that the NFL, I think expanding the NFL that way, and again, if you do it, I think you do need to add it where each team has the same amount of each division has the same amount of teams. And I think Mexico City would be super supportive. St. Louis, we know, has supportive. They just found a better deal in LA. They just want to be they wanted to be the team to go back to LA. That's what that was.
Right.
OKC has shown that they can support a sports franchise with the Thunder. And like I feel like this. If you're a city that supports an other team outside of the NFL, everybody loves the NFL. If you had a chance now to support the NFL, like that's why I say Columbus. I think Columbus would work because they already support college football. They already support a hockey team. If you're from Columbus, Ohio, they tell you now you're gonna get an NFL team, you wouldn't support the NFL team.
The only thing with Columbus is it's kind of like dropping one in State College in PA, right? The city's not massive. There's a bunch of people there. It supports 110,000 people in Beaver Stadium every single Saturday they have a home game. Mm-hmm. Columbus is the same way. Now, granted, it's a bigger city, but everyone there, much like everyone in Central PA, is split between either Cleveland or Cincinnati. They're not just all of a sudden going to drop the team that they have loved for 50 years and go and be a fan of the Columbus even
you can say
older
that,
Buckeyes.
You can say that with any team though. With
not
any
really.
city.
San Antonio maybe, but if they got something there, they're at least going to support.
They're already but I'm saying they're already rooting for somewhere else.
Maybe.
They're
all Dallas Cowboys fans, and much like every other Dallas Cowboy fan, they're just gonna lose.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Matt. I don't know, man. I love the craziness of Dave's idea, which is hilarious to just
start over.
All up. Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, if you take a look at the NFL's perspective, and you're right, maybe they wait until it's too late, but the NFL, think about this. The NFL is on the top, right? They're on top. So they're like, hey, so we're on top. So let's blow it up now while we're on top and then start again. I don't know. Listen,
with contracts and everything, it could never, it could never happen, right? Contracts and stuff. It would never happen. But I think the premise is fun.
The contracts could be there. The issue is that
NFLPA would have an issue with it too, probably.
What's that?
The NFLPA would probably.
Of course they would. But like, it's not like it happens tomorrow. You figure it out. And the only reason there's issues with contracts is because of salary caps that the NFL imposed. So, fuck it. Just blow it up.
Fair.
The product. I wouldn't want them to touch it right now. So my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, listen, I can kind of see what Dave's going with it, where that there's some stuff that's getting stagnant. There's the moms worried about their sons playing it, and you've seen the youth movement not really go to it. You've seen the youth movement go to soccer a little bit now.
The whole concussion
the flag football, which means they're never gonna get to play high school football, because now you've seen a lot of kids they are playing it, but they're playing flag football. We're never gonna have a professional flag football league like that's.
Well, I don't know, man.
That's legitimate. I mean, yeah, there might be like little semi-pro teams and stuff.
I'm going to start it next week.
There you go. Well,
you're not going to get paid, but I'm going to start it.
Much like this show, but yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I love the idea of adding international flavor. Though, getting some teams in Canada. Yeah. Let's piss off the Canadian Football League too. Matt, do you even care about the Canadian Football League?
No. I've been a long proponent. I know it's like it's history and there's a lot of older fans here, but I've been a proponent for a long time of making it like a minor league for the NFL. Like the rules up here are different. The size of the ball is different.
Yeah,
field's bigger, which is like, I mean, if you change it to the NFL rules, and I think they'll be more successful, because then you can have farm teams for the NFL, and then you get that kind of like financial backing through the NFL, because the CFL is always constantly in financial trouble. But no, to make a short answer very long, no, I don't really care about the CFL.
All right, well, let's get back to some headlines. There we go. All right, Malcolm Brogdon wins NBA Sixth Man of the Year. I'm a little surprised. I thought it was going to go quickly. You did call it. You did. I think Brogdon was your pick. I did have quickly. If you look at their stats, though, their stats were very similar, man. They were like pretty much almost spot on. Points wise, they both had the same amount of points, 14.9. Rebounds, both 4.2. The only place that Brogdon had him on was assists and shooting percentage, field goal percentage. Brogdon was 3.7, Quickly was 3.4. And Brogdon obviously shot 48% from the field, Quickly 44. I don't know what the vote turned out to be. I don't even if they released it. How far Quickly was. Did Quickly come in second?
You came in second.
So it was. I'm assuming it was probably a close vote. Brogdon took lead. Listen,
it was like, I think the final things were like 450 to 380 votes.
That's pretty close when you really break it down. Especially if you look at it, if the stats are this similar, you're gonna go with the guy on the team that's the higher seeded team, the better team overall.
Yeah.
By the way, Brogdon got 60 out of 100 of first place votes.
So there you go. Quickly probably got a handful too, but
also I don't know if this worked against him. I know we talked about it before, but Quickly started a quarter of the season.
He did start some games. Brogdon,
I mean, I don't know how you hold that against somebody, but I mean, if you're talking about sixth man, Brogdon came off the bench the entire year.
Yeah,
so he was more of a 6 man. I don't know if that plays into it at all, but
I think you have to hold it against a little bit, because if Quickly starting, it means he's generally probably playing more minutes than he typically would, which means he'd add some of those stats a little bit. So he'd have a couple extra points a game. He might have an extra rebound or an extra assist a game. I don't know if it makes a difference with the field goal percentage, but you're right. It does take a little bit of away, because because you can look at it like the stats might have been padded a little bit. But Brogdon's a vet. Brogdon's been in the league for a while. Quickly's not. He might be a future starter quickly somewhere. Someone might pick him up to be a starter somewhere. If I'm the Knicks, I leave him right where he's at. He's a spark plug off the bench. He's been so dynamic for us off the bench. You make him a spot starter here and there when you need to pull him up. Kind of like Norman Powell in LA. They needed him to start. Came in yesterday, started, had 42 points. That's kind of what Quickly did this year too. There was times when they needed him to start. He came in and he hit 35 to 40 points. He had a couple of big games, but those were games that he started. But off the bench, he's a firecracker off the bench, man. I leave him off the bench and let him be the 6th man. Hopefully we get to keep him. He doesn't get lured away by the thought process of starting. And that's the thing with the NBA too. Starting, it's all semantics, right? I mean, like, you can play just as many minutes coming off the bench. Some of these guys play more minutes than the starters anyway. So it's where about where you fit better is being that guy that comes in as that second run of players that come in towards the end of the first or midway through the second. So it's more of a mindset that I think maybe that is, starter means better. But I think if you really think about it and you look at it objectively, being a 6th man is just as good as being a starter, if not better than some starters in the league. So that's that. And then what else we got? We got Bradley Beal being sued. Did you hear about this? Anyone?
I read about it. I know there was a fan that I guess apparently. Well, no, go ahead. If you want to say
no, go ahead. You got it.
I read about it because apparently I guess he's coming off the court, and I guess the fan that's suing him, I guess it was his
friend.
It was his friend that yelled something like, "Hey, you cost me, $1,300, you fuck."
Yeah, that's the quote.
Yeah, so the guy goes over, and of course he says one part of the police report said that he knocked his hat 5-6 feet back. The other one said he hit him in the side of the head. So that's what you kind of get. And then he's like, I get it, but you can't be like this. When Beal's saying, I get that people lose money, I go to casinos, but you can't be like this. My thing is, he's like, if people get angry, it's one thing, but then when you talk about families, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's still just words. Like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's yelling shit at you. Fans are yelling at these players all day long. So I don't know. I mean, it gets annoying. You want to knock the hell out of somebody.
Plus, if you just had a bad loss too, right? Like, the last thing I need to hear about is you lost money. Like, I'm not worried about you. I mean, listen, if you're upset because we lost the game and you spent your hard-earned money to come to see me play and I didn't show up for that game, I get being upset then. But don't give me you lost money on a bet. Don't bet. That's my problem. Is you don't want to lose. If you're not ready to lose that money, then don't bet. I gamble, but I don't gamble money I don't have.
But even if someone yells crap at you, I mean, people yell shit at us all the time. Are we gonna run and knock people's hat off because we didn't like what they said? I mean, I don't know. I get it. Listen, in the heat of the moment, don't get me wrong. I have a short fuse, so I can understand. I mean, I'm not saying he's right, but I understand. So that's the only thing I got to say about it.
Matt, if someone says I didn't like the episode 5 of Turner and Hooch, you gonna slap their hat off?
I'm gonna knock them the fuck out.
The whole T squad. The whole T squad. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, knocking the hat off is whatever.
Disrespectful. I mean, it's embarrassing, and like that was the thing. Is that it's also he's being sued for like basically trying to be intimidated, trying to intimidate him and embarrass him. Like I get that being embarrassed. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. He also talked about
the team not having a security present. I guess I don't.
That's his biggest beef. Then really, right there is you can't listen. You can't pick a fight with a player and expect sometimes these players not to be like, you know what, get the F out of my face.
Yep.
But you can't blame the team for not having the right security around, because at that point, maybe sue the team. Let Bradley Beal breathe. He's not the guy that you ever really hear getting into too much trouble. I don't ever hear about getting anything off the court.
Yeah.
So leave the guy alone. Let him live. I'm sure. Listen, if you lost $1,300 because he did something bad in that game, chances are they probably lost that game. Chances are he's probably already upset at himself for blowing the game. He doesn't need to hear about you blowing $1,300.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Don't gamble. If you can't be prepared to lose it, don't even gamble it.
Also, he makes $50 million a year. He don't give a shit about your 13.
Right, like his 13. I'll tell you what would have been nice is if he would have turned around and said, "Yeah, let me write you a check." That would have been that would have been nice.
Yeah. That happened in Vancouver.
Did it really?
Before he got traded, missed an empty net goal or something like that. Someone tweeted at him their gamble their sheet where it's like Bo Horvat goal missed. That's the only one of a parlay, and he responded, DM me your details. So he's going to send him.
You know what?
Whatever.
He's an Islander now. He got traded to the Islanders. He's an Islander now.
Yeah,
that's a quality individual, man. That really is. Yeah. That's a quality individual.
Dave, I know you bet quite a bit. What do you think? You knocking someone's hat off?
No. I mean, here's my thing. I'm with you on the if you don't have the money, don't gamble.
Agreed.
But if you are in a position where you are making millions of dollars and people are going to gamble on your sport, you need to you need to be better. You need to not be the guy who's going to go after someone who's just talking shit and he's upset. You can't be that guy. You have to be the bigger man in every situation because like they always say, you have to get it right every time. Mm-hmm. They only have to get it right once. And it sucks. So, but it's $50K. Dude's going to write the check and just be like, whatever. It's not a big deal.
So, but all right, move on to our last NBA topic. Ooh, that's not the NBA topic we want. James Harden continues to be linked to going back to the Rockets. Good move for him. What do you think? I mean, Philly, I feel like he's bored in Philadelphia. Do we not? I mean, he just seems lost a little bit. He seems like he doesn't really care about being there.
I think he's just older and he's out of shape.
Oh, he's been out of shape
the last 3 years.
Yeah. He's 33. He's up there.
Also, does Houston not remember how he tanked his way out of there?
Are they looking at it like, you know what? Bring a veteran that everybody loves to see. They loved him when he was here. They're going to want to see him again. Sell some tickets while we're not good.
Fans are like, oh, cool. Remember when he just gave up and stopped playing?
Right. I agree. And he did the same thing in Brooklyn, too, to get out of Brooklyn. Yeah. But my thing is, he could sell some tickets to the fans. If you're not worried about winning just right now, because you're rebuilding this thing in Houston, right? If you're not worried about winning games, why not bring him on? You'll have the cap space. Bring him in. Sell tickets in the meantime. People will still come to see Harden.
And why would you want to go to Houston? They're not going to be good.
Doesn't matter. It's graduation glasses for everyone the whole way around.
It's the nostalgia.
That's all it is. It's the same reason they brought Kutch back to Pittsburgh. That's it.
Well, but I think what I'm saying is, why would he want to go? Is what you're saying, pretty much, though, right? But I think for the same reason, I think if he's
pay him, and he's
going to get
paid anyway.
That's fair. That's fair. But he's going back to a spot where. But he's going back to a spot where he was loved. Does he care about the team? Obviously not, right? So go back to a spot where you're going to be loved for the end of your career. Sell some tickets, make some money. Who gives a shit?
And they'll pay him more than any other team will too.
Well, because they're paying so many other young players, they'll have more cap space to be able to pay like that.
Also, I don't think anyone's interested outside of Houston. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Westbrook. It's kind of like a Westbrook deal where it's like kind of seen that already, and it's not what it used to be. And even then, even as good as it was, it didn't really provide wins. You were never able to get over.
He was good this year. He was
quiet. Well. I think he had a good, nice, quiet year, under the radar kind of year for him. But he still put up numbers. You're right. If you're Philly,
he's not a max guy.
No, not anymore. Not anymore by any stretch. He probably thinks he is, but he's not. But if you're Philly, Matt, are you kind of saying, okay, go back to Houston? Are you kind of like, or do you want him to stay?
Well, it all depends on what you can replace him with. I
think he's got a player option, does he not?
Yeah, but he signed the team-friendly deal of he took the pay cut of
that's right,
$38 million or whatever. So, if he really wants to get that extra $12 million a year, well, listen, $12 million a year is not nothing to sneeze at. But it depends on what you can replace him with. If you can find a point guard that can move the ball or they could shoot, then hell yeah.
The only thing is, though, is he's expressed multiple times that he wants to win a championship. So he's going to be in a much better.
If he's leaving, does he?
But that's the thing. He's going to be in a much better position with Philly than obviously the Rockets are rebuilding. So I don't know what are you gaining from that other than just money, but you're going to get paid regardless. So I don't know.
So let's put our glasses on, our future our sightseeing. What is it? Future seeing glasses.
Like you said,
I can't, dude. I can't talk.
Yeah, I think all those are wrong.
Yeah,
every single one.
Bro, I'm still a little
He's
sick. I'm still a little but do we think let's look into the future? Or crystal ball. How about that? We look into our crystal ball.
There you go.
Our glass ears.
Is he in Philadelphia next year, Matt?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna smoke. There's fire. I'm gonna follow the smoke.
I think it's oddly enough. That's exactly where I'm at. I think that if they're even talking about him going back to Houston, there must be something about Houston that he wants to go back to it. Whether it's for comfortability, strip clubs. I know he had a really good time in Houston in the past. But I think there's also that comfortability factor for him too. That might be what it is. Like it's like the good old days. Like that's where he had the prime of his career. Go back there and have some fun. Be like the elder statesman. Joey, what do you think? Is he back in Philly?
If the Sixers possibly could end up in a matchup with Boston, if they get smoked in that round, I think he goes.
Yeah, because Boston's not going. Here's the thing too. Philly can't really get any better if they're paying him too. Boston's not going anywhere. Milwaukee's not going anywhere.
Right.
You've got some other teams in the East that are only going to get better. Knicks are going to be better by next year because they're going to add a piece somewhere. They're going to add some piece somewhere this year. They're not going to lose much. They can only add. So there's going to be teams.
That's what I'm saying. So if they get beat by, assuming they end up playing the Celtics, they get smoked by them, or they end up just losing it, there probably could be big changes in Philly anyway. So maybe they start going in a different direction. I don't know. Just saying, because you're right. Boston's not going anywhere. So, and they're not getting any better. So,
the guy that's a lock in Philly is Embiid, right? So, all right. So let's get into some NFL news. Teams calling 49ers on Trey Lance. Joey, you're the hometown guy. What do you think?
So obviously, everything that I've been kind of digging in this and digging.
You actually have playing footage of him? Wow, I didn't even know you had enough playing time to get a picture of him.
It's preseason.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, jokes aside, from the Pittsburgh Steelers fan and the New York Jet fan, I kind of dug into this a bit. My understanding is the team has been fielding calls. They're not reaching out to teams. Teams are calling them. Now the question is, what are teams offering them? I've heard the Vikings mentioned. I've heard actually several teams, but what are they offering them? Because the thing is, Lance's value is not going to be what it was 2 years ago.
No.
So the problem is, at least for me, the Niners, I think at this point, because I don't think they're going to get anything for anywhere near what they gave up. So you got to see what you have in Lance. He hasn't played enough. He's been extremely raw. And assuming Purdy can recover from his elbow surgery, it wasn't Tommy John, we already know he can play. So, and obviously, I know you got Sam Darnold back there. We're not sure what we have with him. I know he played his football recently.
I think he's going to be good in San Francisco.
He might. Well, it seems that any quarterback you put back there seems to do okay. But I don't know. Lance, he didn't wow me at all. Some of his physical attributes, yes, the arm and stuff like that. But I know he's been working on that. But as far as them taking it, I still don't think they're going to take the trade because I don't think they're going to get enough for what they gave up. And I'm not saying they'll ever get it, but Lance has to do something before that would be even feasible. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
I agree to an extent. Pat says he has the stats. If he wants to pop, you can pop them up. I mean, there's not many stats to go with.
There's not much.
So, you know what? My thing is this: I get what you're saying. They want to make sure they get the value back that they spent to trade up to get him that time. But you also got to look at the value you got. I wouldn't look at the value on that one transaction. You got to look at the value of overall transactions. Mm-hmm. So, he might not have been your quarterback, but you basically got your other guy that could be your quarterback, Purdy, going forward for basically nothing. You got him for like the last pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. So if you even all that stuff out, then it's okay to get like only a third round pick from Lance at that point, I think.
The problem
especially if you don't need him. Like, why you're gonna build him back up to now? So that way, people are gonna question Purdy. Oh, maybe Purdy shouldn't start. That's what Purdy said.
I get it. The problem with Purdy is Purdy has physical limitations. Everybody knows that. He's physically he's a really good player because he can make quick decisions and he's actually pretty accurate with the ball. But overall, he's not going to have the ceiling point that, say, obviously Trey has or could have potentially.
Yeah.
Which I always say potential is one of the worst words in the NFL. And even Sam Darnold is far beyond him physically. Yeah. But you know what you have in Purdy. But he's not going to Purdy's not going to put a team on his back and just win the game for you. He's not, he's not Aaron Rodgers. It's just not going to happen. So you're kind of looking for that elite status. Now,
do you need that in San Francisco right now? I don't think
you haven't won a Super Bowl yet. With an elite team.
I know, but Purdy didn't play all year.
I agree.
You didn't have 17 games of Purdy.
No, to answer your question, no, you don't need to be elite. But the thing is, he potentially could be.
Just remember, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
I know.
Always remember that.
Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Joe Flacco
also with the world beating.
For the same damn team.
I get it. I'm not, listen, the Niners could and probably should have already won a bowl by now, but it just haven't because it just hasn't happened.
I don't know. You didn't have a full year of C-Mac. You didn't have a full year of Purdy. And that was a potent offense at the end of the year.
No, big time. Yeah,
until they all got hurt. Yeah.
Until they all got hurt.
Which is
it just doesn't make sense. Like, to Joey's point, you invested way too much to begin with.
Way too much.
But you invested nothing to get the guy that might be the guy now. So it kind of like you got to average that out.
I just don't see the upside of selling low.
So I will say this as a Steelers fan. We spent last year dealing with Mitchell Trubisky, a small-handed, overdrafted, underperforming Kenny Pickett, and the dude who was
sounded like Trump's description.
Right. And the dude who is supposed to be the heir to the Ben Roethlisberger throne, Mason Rudolph. And the third one got absolutely bent over because he never had a shot. As much as Rudolph didn't play well when he got in, he never had a shot. You're going to have the same thing in San Francisco, and it's going to be worse because you're in a better position. If you have Sam Darnold, who, by all intents and purposes, is a pretty damn good quarterback if he's in the right situation.
I agree.
You have Trey Lance, who hasn't done anything, and Purdy, who proved everything, and if he didn't get injured, I think he wins the Super Bowl.
I definitely, listen, he doesn't get injured. They beat Philly. There's no question.
I agree. 100%.
In my mind.
Do they beat Kansas? I don't think they beat Kansas City, though. Kansas City.
I don't know. Kansas City's kind of like, and every team
they're
has
an enigma.
They're kind of like that Achilles heel for the Niners. It's kind of like it is where, for a while, Kansas City couldn't get Cincinnati out of their head, where Cincinnati just kept beating. It was just, every team has a team like that. Dallas the last couple of years just can't seem to get past the Niners. It's just one of those things.
It's always our worst possible matchup. It's like
I know it's every team's got it.
God damn it.
Every team has them. So, but yeah, I agree with you,
like
Dave.
It's 1996 again.
As a Jet fan, I can say we have them all. They're all ours. So
no matter what happens with Darnold, and I agree with Darnold's ability, and even at his age, he's still young. Giving him that offense, he could skyrocket. I don't know, but you already know Purdy. You have a starter, and I legit think he is. I was just talking about his limitations.
You could, if you got the right deal, I think you get rid of Lance. I just don't know where he lands.
That's the problem. Nobody knows anything about him.
The article said Minnesota, but really, we got a draft coming with the best quarterback class in at least a decade.
Wait, you think this quarterback class is that good of a draft?
Hell yeah!
I think it's actually subpar.
You're nuts.
I'm so on it.
I think there's a good ceiling on some of them, but I think for the most part, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of.
I think this is better than last year. It's the reason I hate the fact that the Steelers picked Pickett. He was
just upset about Pickett.
He was the best of the worst class that they've seen in a long time.
Wait, so what was Matt saying?
Who do you think's a better option than Pickett in this year's draft?
In this year's draft, Levis, Stroud.
I think Levis is going to be a bust.
I agree, and as a Penn State fan, I'm going to say that, but I still think he's a better option than Pickett was. The reason they drafted Pickett is because they missed Dan Marino in 1981 or whatever year. 83. My bad. It's the reason they didn't take the hometown kid then. That's the reason.
Can I tell you what I really think it is? I think you're a Penn State fan. You hate Pitt, and they just drafted a Pitt quarterback, and you're irate. You're irate about it.
But I also just said pick C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, who absolutely destroyed Penn State the last 2 years. So
CJ Stroud, I think could be decent. I don't think he's going to be a star. I don't think there's any. Let me put it this way. I don't think there's any stars in this draft. If you ask me, the only one that I feel like could be if he hits his ceiling, and it's a hard ceiling, but is Anthony Richardson. Only because what I see in Anthony Richardson reminds me very much of what I saw in Josh Allen in tape of Josh Allen in college. Big guy, fast. strong arm, but inaccurate. But then when you get to the pros, you coach him up right, and maybe you can get yourself a Josh Allen.
What's really interesting to me, and I'm off topic here, obviously, but the amount of quarterbacks in this draft that are older because of COVID, where I think you're buying a much more stable product,
like the Tennessee product.
Yeah. Same with Stroud, honestly. I mean
maybe.
You have dude from Georgia's like 38, right?
I don't know. I think you're joking, right?
Oh, yeah, I am. But isn't he like 26?
25? The one that Vegas is interested in, right?
Yeah.
I think he turns.
No, you're thinking of Hooker from Tennessee.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. But I think they're like what?
He's 26.
Yeah,
and he's gonna miss a year because he had the ACL in there. He's gonna miss another year too because of that.
Okay, let me ask you guys this: as someone who has their first overall pick in a dynasty pool,
yeah,
okay,
who am I drafting? I need a quarterback because I got Tua. It's a 2 quarterback super flex, so I got Tua and Derek Carr as my. Well, I got some other quarterbacks, but those are my like starting guys. We just started a dynasty league last year. I thought Tua was going to have a monster year. I looked pretty good for half the year.
You did.
And then I thought Carr was going to have a huge year. That didn't happen. Yeah. So I need to turn my first overall pick into a quarterback.
And it's from the draft?
From the draft. It's a dynasty, so they're like everyone's rosters are full.
I think you're going to have a better year with Carr this year.
Yeah, I think
he landed in a great spot for him.
But if I'm drafting
out of college,
it's all college people. Drafting.
If I'm you, here's why I go, because you already have a quarterback that's gonna if Tua stays healthy, he's gonna put up numbers.
You know that.
Yeah.
That's
Carr in a dome. Carr in a dome is gonna put up numbers, especially with Olave and some of those other weapons that he has.
Yeah.
I go Anthony Richardson because you have time to wait for an Anthony Richardson to develop in 2 years. And if he doesn't, then you draft again anyway. But you have your quarterback situation isn't really that poor for the next couple of years. It's really not.
No, unless Tua dies.
Yeah.
Tua can't throw the ball more than 28 yards down the field. So
well, he doesn't.
I heard he's been going to.
He only and let him go 60 yards. Yeah,
exactly.
I heard.
Okay. Anyways, that's an aside. Okay. Or no, Dave. Who do you suggest?
I like that. I like Hooker out of Tennessee. I'm a fan of his. I think Stroud's gonna be better than a lot of people are giving him, and Levis would be a bust. What position are you drafting in?
First overall.
Oh, that hurts.
So I also have an option to like move that pick.
I would trade it. I would trade it for 2 firsts.
So I'm trying to trade it for. Well, I've talked to. So a guy had my buddy had Justin Herbert last year, who had a bad, not a good fantasy year. He's so sour on Herbert. So I want to see if I can.
You can swoop in and get him.
Yeah, trade first overall for Herbert. That's actually probably better than.
That's the best.
That's the best.
I'll probably have to include something else in there, but I'm very much willing to do it.
Throw in one of those other guys. Throw in one of your other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I might have to. Okay. All right. My fantasy corner is over. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, all right. So then, real quick, then we'll wrap up this segment, Matt. So if he, give me a landing spot for Trey Lance and compensation.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I don't think I think the landing spot's going to be San Francisco because I don't think they should trade him.
I agree.
But I think the compensation, I don't think anyone's giving higher than a 3rd round pick for him.
Yeah, I would think so at this point. I think 3rd is about as good as it gets for him.
Yeah,
maybe,
so if
maybe
I'm
a 3rd and maybe swap 5ths or something like that.
Yeah, if I'm San Francisco, I don't do that until I see what I've got. Because what they've seen so far, obviously Joey can attest to this. I mean, it hasn't been great, but it's who also looked awful is Justin Fields.
Yeah,
and then look what happened. Justin's great.
You've seen him work on his accuracy a bit, but it's amazing what can happen when a team doesn't leave their quarterback to die when they design plays for him and around him.
Well, they also don't make him conform to what you already play. You build a system around him.
And I like Justin Fields.
Chicago did everything. Terribly. They fucked him over. But
they always do.
It's Chicago. This is what we expect.
But I think he stays in San Francisco.
All right, there we go. All right, so Eagles hire Matt Patricia as senior defensive assistant. Do we finally? Is this the rebirth of Matt Patricia now? Finally, he's not an offensive coordinator again. He can go back to coaching defense.
Rebirth.
Is this something that could now get him back into a head coaching spot in a few years? He's inheriting a really good defense, a really, really good defense. Matt, what do you think?
Head coaching in a couple years, I'm going to say no. The last one went so poorly, and then his comeback to round out, I don't know, his coaching resume to be an offensive coordinator went even worse.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. And again, he is young for a head coach. He's only 48. That's not old for a coach. He has some years to then prove himself in Philly with a good squad. He's getting a good team. And, he puts a couple of, top 5 defenses together for a few years. He might get another shot.
I'll tell you what. The history of coaches who come in and are terrible, then go back to, for example, Josh McDaniel. He was awful as a head coach. Went back to coaching.
He went back to OC,
Yeah, went back to OC and came back. And he's still an awful coach, but he got another chance. So I'm going to say, I think that he's got a chance.
Definitely those guys that only really should be coordinators, like Todd Bowles' guy, just be a coordinator. Yeah. North Turner was a decent coach, but really he should have been a coordinator.
He was a way better offensive coordinator.
So, and maybe that might be Patricia. Patricia's fit might just be as a defensive guy. So we'll see. What's coming up next is Dallas picks up CeeDee Lamb's 5th-year option. Were you a little nervous, Matt? Because I know there might have been some talk maybe he wasn't going to stay.
No. He's so good.
You got now the long-term deals in the works. It seems like, right? They're not letting him get out of Dallas.
They better not, because they gave away Amari Cooper for nothing.
Pretty much,
and not replace him. They're like, oh, he makes too much money. That was when he was making $20 million as a wide receiver, and which was high at the time. But now that's kind of middle market. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I get you don't want to play Amari Cooper, pay him that much money. What are you going to replace him with? It's like, oh, we're going to pay injured Gallup $12 million a year. And weird, Gallup got hurt a lot last year.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck are you doing? So, I mean, speaking of hurt bags, I like the Brandon Cooks move because you got him at a discount, and you paid nothing to get him.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the receiving core, provided Gallup can stay healthy. CeeDee's sick. Yes, Dave. I have a question. Yes, Dave, please.
Who's going to throw any of these guys the ball in an accurate and professional manner?
Oh, the future Hall of Fame quarterback.
Oh, my bad. I forgot about that part.
Here we go.
Do you think Dak is the guy? Are you still fully behind Dak?
I gotta be honest. I didn't enjoy last season.
No,
but if you look at his history, that seems to be an aberration. Like, he turned the ball over so many fucking times, man. It was just like,
Matt, in the playoff game, you must have been pulling your fucking hair out because here we go.
Man. Especially because that's a game we could have and probably should have won. We just turned the fucking ball over.
I know.
God.
So the question is, that's why I think Gene is, and even I'm wondering, what are Dallas fans thinking as far as is Dak the guy? Because whenever it seems to get to that moment, something like that does happen. And it's crazy because he plays so good in general. So it's like, even with the turnovers, he still had a good season. So,
but here's the thing though. It's like, okay, he's not the guy. Who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah, I don't. Here we go.
Yes. Can we trade Kenny Pickett for Dak Prescott straight up?
He'll take. They're
Prescott both starting quarterbacks in the NFL. They're both great.
Kenny Pickett seems like a nice country boy. He'd fit in Dallas.
He's from New Jersey. He's the opposite of a country boy.
he's got that. Kenny Pickett sounds like a country boy.
It sounds like a country music singer, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Morgan Wallen featuring Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
In the
album's called
Dave, that's gonna be no. That's gonna be a no.
I'm gonna be honest. I know Dak Prescott had an off year last year, but I haven't seen enough for me to say I need to move on from Dak Prescott. Now I might see enough where I'm like, we are overpaying him, but I haven't seen enough where I'm like, you know what? He's definitely not.
I don't think he's overpaid anymore because the way that the quarterback.
I don't think so anymore. Originally,
I guess you're right. Danny, I told him Danny.
I don't understand that with the Giants. I'm like, what the f are you guys doing? I don't know.
So Dak is what? Like, he's like 12th on the list now, or 10th?
I think he's. Yeah, you might be right. You know, I didn't even think about it, but you might be right.
And then come next year, he'll be.
There's some bad contracts up there though. That when Deshaun's a bad contract, that Danny Dimes contract is a bad contract.
They're all bad contracts.
Russell Wilson, there's some bad contracts above him. So
hey, by the way, real quick to your point, Gene, as far as Patricia goes, great defensive coordinator. Probably will still be very successful with that. Not a good head coach. Just like Josh McDaniels is freaking terrible. He was terrible the first time. He's terrible now. Doesn't know how to
6-0 though. He did start off 6-0. If everybody
I don't give a fuck.
With Tebow.
I don't give a shit. They're both, and it's funny. It's interesting because they both fall under that same coaching tree. These guys are great coordinators. They go to be head coaches and they suck at it.
Yeah,
they don't know how to manage players.
I don't think Bill Belichick is teaching these guys everything but like one key element that they need as head coaches, just so like they don't go out and be better than him.
No,
because
he doesn't teach them how to.
None of them become head coaches, and none
he doesn't
of them
teach them how to cheat. That's the issue. He teaches them how to coach. He doesn't teach them how to cheat. That's the difference.
Fair enough.
The problem is, I think they're trying to emulate what Bill Belichick does, and
that's how it was with
Yeah. Unless you're Belichick, who's won a bunch of Super Bowls, and people are still going to listen to you, it's not going to fucking work just because you think you're going to act that way.
That's what happened with Fat Boy Mangini. Mangini came over here. He thought he was a big dog. You got the cameo in Sopranos.
Dude, it happened with Bowles, Patricia.
Bowles isn't a Belichick disciple. He's from the coaching tree of the Arians.
Wait, who was it that came? There was another one too.
You're thinking of Mangini. Oh, Judge. Riley. You're thinking of Judge from the Jets, from the Giants.
That's probably what it. Okay, that's probably what it is then.
So, all right. Last football topic. Jets target training camp return from Mekhi Becton. This is the reason why I'm not going out and I'm not drafting a tackle. Everybody wants to draft a tackle in the first round. I think as long as there's a lot of question marks on that offensive line, right? Elijah Vera Tucker bouncing back from an injury. We got to see if he can do that. Mekhi Becton's coming back from an injury. Dwayne Brown is old. I think he's about 75 years old. And Laken Tomlinson had a really bad year last year. But you know what? I go to battle with these guys. We actually have some other guys, some other pieces. Max Mitchell as a backup tackle. He played well until he got hurt last year. He had the blood clot issue. I think the only spot I'm drafting, and I'm going to get him in the second round or the third round, maybe even I might be able to trade back into the second round a little bit and get him, is John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. The best center in the draft. You're going to get him in the mid to late second round, and you're going to be able to plug him in for the next 12 years as your center for the next 12 years. I don't worry if Mekhi Becton does what we hope he can do. He's lost like 1 million pounds. He looks great compared to what he was before he got hurt. Elijah Vera Tucker, I believe it was his pec that he hurt. I think he's going to be fine when he comes back. Laken Tomlinson, everyone's talking, we got to replace him. We just signed him last year to a big contract. We're not replacing him the year 2 of that contract. We're paying him too much money to do it. Maybe next year, he has a bad year this year. Maybe next year we move on from him, but we're not doing it this year. Anyone have any thoughts about the Jets' offensive line problem, or is that just me as a Jet fan that wants to talk about it?
I can speak to everyone that no one gives a shit, dude.
This might have been this is the only.
We just lost every viewer. Every viewer is gone.
Everybody's like, click off.
Jets offensive line. All right, so there you
go.
This guy here.
I do want to talk next about the Jet punter situation. We'll talk about that next.
Listen, this guy here's got what he's played. Unfortunately, it's like he's played like one game in 4 years or something.
He's been hurt a lot, but he's also he was always overweight and out of shape. He's finally like slimmed down to the right weight. And he seems motivated from everything you're seeing in any of the videos and stuff
like,
showing now.
Hey, now we look like we're a decent team. Now I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go on a diet.
I'm with it. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I listen. I would love to see him. I don't want to draft another offensive lineman in the first round. Give me a guy in the second, and let's go get it. Let's fix some little holes on our defense because our defense is that close to being like all time great. Let's go get a safety. Maybe a linebacker, and then get use that second round pick for for your center, and you're good to go. You'll find the Hall of Fame center in the second round. So I'm good with it. All right, we got a little baseball news. We don't have to talk baseball that much yet this year, just because it's so early. But we do have some baseball news, some interesting stuff. Mets ace gets 10-game ban for sticky substance on the hand. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but it seems like it wasn't just sweat and rosin. It was enough that they say must have been enough to warrant a 10-game suspension. He also said he wasn't going to appeal it, and he gave some nonsense reason why he didn't think he wouldn't win in an appeal. Here's the craziest part of the whole story. The man swear on his kids' lives that he's not cheating. Does he have to answer to his wife now? Forget about Major League Baseball. Yeah, Does he need to answer to his wife? Dave, what do you think?
Maybe he doesn't maybe his kids suck.
You know what? That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, they're not always winners. They're not always make more kids. They're not all winners, right?
It was obviously stick him on his hands, or not stick. What? That's NFL. What's
Rosin?
the shit? No, what's the shit that Garrett Cole?
Pine tar.
No. There's that spider tack.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was obviously something like that because the umpire said that their fingers were sticking to his hand.
Yeah.
So,
and he got caught 3 times. They gave him 3 chances to clean it. Yeah. 3 chances.
What you were saying is he basically was saying I was going to appeal it, and then I went into I thought I was going to get a neutral arbitrator, but then I saw it was MLB, and I'm like, but they're the fucking organization. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's always the same way.
You're going in front of.
Like, do you think this is this going to appellate court? No.
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Where do you think it's going? That's like saying an NFL player getting in trouble. Me like, yeah, I thought it was going to be neutral, but I had to go talk to the NFL office. Well, that's your fucking boss. What the fuck do you think's going to happen?
So, Matt, question: do we need to pray for his children?
Yeah.
Right.
We do something.
Say a couple of novenas for the young Scherzer kids because there may be an accident happening. He's sworn their lives. The one thing I would never do, whether I'm telling the truth or lying, is swear my children's lives.
Because don't do that
for two reasons: either I'm lying and I'm gonna risk their lives, or I'm not lying. But now, whenever I do need to lie about something, they'll say, "We'll swear on your kid's life," and then I'm not gonna be able. And if I don't, then you'll know I'm lying because I've done it before. So if I'm lying about something and you got to catch me in a lie, and I won't swear my kids then. So I will never do it ever for that reason. I just give my wife a tip. I shouldn't even have said that out loud. She's gonna know now when I don't. But anyway,
get yourself in trouble, G.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, good. Some really, really good news here. Let's talk about this one. Liam Hendriks announces he is in remission. It's official. I am cancer free. White Sox closer. Happy story for that, right? Here he is, right there.
Yeah, good on him.
I don't know what his timetable is to come back. If he's going to be able to, I'm assuming he's still going to make a full recovery back into the majors. Did anybody see any timetable for his return?
No,
I didn't.
Just the good.
But either way,
good news though.
It's good news.
Yeah,
cancer free in remission. What else? What more is there to say? That's outstanding.
Blue Jay.
He wasn't using spider tack.
No,
back in.
That might have been, and maybe somebody, thank God nobody swore in his life, but
yeah, right.
But we're all happy to see him back and make his return back to the majors. Were you a Hendricks fan in Toronto? Was he good to you guys? I don't remember.
He wasn't the pitcher he turned it into be like.
He wasn't a closer right then. He was just a regular bullpen guy, wasn't he?
He was a regular bullpen guy. He wasn't great in Toronto. He had the typical bullpen career where it's like, oh, he looks good one year and then the next year,
back and forth,
and you're just kind of doing this.
Yeah. Only the closers are the guys that are always good. That's how.
I take him the last couple of years. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, there you go. All right, what's up next? And we're gonna be talking about our final topic in a second.
What you got, Dave?
Yes.
You can go to the next one. It's fine. I just have to add last minute baseball news. So
all right.
Continue.
Well, I'll say this, and then we can tack yours on. A's purchased land in Las Vegas for a new ballpark. Are we excited about the fact that there may be a Las Vegas Athletics? Are we excited about this?
You keep putting those teams in Las Vegas, man. You asking for trouble.
NBA's next, man. Listen, NBA's gonna have a team in Vegas too before long. I mean, they've already put an All-Star game there.
I get it.
Got G League team there. I think the women's league got a team there. So there's a big push for sports in Vegas.
Get him out of fucking Oakland, man.
Well, Oakland doesn't do anything for me. They have no money in Oakland.
Listen, Vancouver has a baseball team. It's the minor league Blue Jays team, single A. And they get about they kind of sell out almost every game. That's about between 5,000 and 6,000 fans. We outdrew Oakland last year multiple times.
Wow.
Wait,
get them the hell out.
You're talking about they're in a professional stadium. They had less than 5,000 people in the stadium.
There was multiple times.
Has it been? Was it that bad that I didn't?
Yeah.
That's like, and when you see like a whole stadium, when you're looking at the stadium, that must look like, it always looks like there's less people in the stadium when it's empty. It always looks like less than there really is. You're like, oh, it looks like there's like 20 people there. And there's like,
right.
But there's 10,000 because the way it's all spread out and stuff. Yeah. If there's like 4,000 people in that stadium, it must look like there's 12 people there.
Exactly.
Like there's more people working at the stadium than there is people at the stadium.
Almost guaranteed.
That's nuts. That's a disgrace for any major sports team. That's a disgrace. The Oakland might not deserve a team of any sport.
I mean,
you couldn't keep the Raiders there.
You can't
keep that team well there, though.
You can't keep that team in business.
No, unless
in the California business climate, let alone Oakland. Like I mean, they're not a good team right now. So I don't know.
No, you're right.
No,
Vegas makes so much sense. It is a much more business friendly environment. that they will then be corrupted, and you will never want to bet on an Oakland or a Las Vegas Athletics game ever again. I don't know.
Maybe, but I'm
just kidding. I don't.
But my thing is I feel like because I think where's Golden State? They play in the Oakland side or the San Francisco side? Where's their arena?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm not sure offhand, but I mean they can't keep a team to save their lives. I mean they just lost the Raiders. They're gonna. Do they still
play at Candlestick Park? Is that a thing?
Very funny.
It's not Candlestick Park anymore, but all right, guys. We actually are. We're gonna do a quick commercial break. We come back and we only need like one ad, Patty, and we're gonna come back and we'll talk a little hockey. Finally, Matt gets to talk some hockey, and Dave can talk some hockey, and our guest is gonna talk some hockey with us. So let's do a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive. Brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
All right, guys, let's welcome our guest from Overtime Sports, Alex Day.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You feeling pretty good right now? Up 2-0 on the both games on the road, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, the Rangers.
I'm feeling more than good right now. You're going up 2-0, going back home. I mean, I'm close to saying the magic word, which is
don't say it. Leave it. Give us at least one more game before you say it. One more game.
Get a broom.
I saw the post you had with the really big bald-headed Devils fan that was all red.
Yep.
Tell me that you made out of that one okay, because it seemed like he was going to get very aggressive at one point.
Yeah, my strategy with those interviews is you could say anything you want if you've got a smile on your face. That's my strategy with asking. I mean, I was poking the bear with that guy, and
poking the bear, yeah.
And he was getting pretty nose to nose, but the more serious he got, the more I just couldn't help but laugh. And he actually DM'd me that he loved the video, and he's gotten a lot of great responses to it. So
it was a good one. It was a funny one. So we're going to talk a little NHL hockey. We haven't really done it. This is a new show. We've only been doing this for about 3 weeks now, so it's a new show relatively. We haven't really touched on much hockey. Because players are just starting to heat up right now. But, the Boston Bruins, man, are such a juggernaut all season. So, we want to talk a little bit. Can they be stopped? And if so, how can they be stopped? And who can stop them in this postseason run? So, Alex, let's ask you first, really. Like, what do you see with Boston?
Well, they don't have any holes at all. Like, they are that good. They really are. And it's not even opinion. It's just they just had the best regular season of all time.
Yeah.
Pressure is a funny thing. It's a funny thing in sports, music, whatever field you're in. If they don't win the cup, that would be a huge upset. So I think really the thing that could be between them and winning the cup is themselves, because there isn't a team that's better than them. But we're seeing it right now. They lost big in game 2. Now they're going back without Bergeron, going back to Florida. I don't know. Like there's not a team better than them, but it's not how it works in hockey where the best team always wins. Yep. It's been, I'm forgetting exactly how many years since the last time the team that won the President's Trophy, most points in a year, won the Stanley Cup. I don't know. Crazier things have happened.
But they're not your typical President Cup winner, though. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not your typical. They've done.
They're a wagon. They're a wagon.
That's what I'm saying. Matt, who do you think, if there is a team out there that can take them out, who is it? And don't say Toronto.
Yeah, I'm going to say Toronto. But, I mean, to Alex's point, the NHL, like, the best team doesn't always win the series. Goalie gets hot.
Yeah.
Like, Allmark had a stupid year. You look at his numbers, it is ridiculous what he did. But come playoff time, a couple bad bounces or you whiff one and to his point, losing Bergeron is a fucking huge deal, man.
Yeah.
That is a huge deal. And they're really deep and they're scary. And I do not want to play them ever. So if Florida could do the job now, that makes life easier if we can get by Tampa, knocking on wood. But yeah, I mean, in hockey, the best team doesn't always win. In fact,
always the hottest goalie.
It doesn't win.
It's usually the hottest goalie, which right now I got to imagine who's hotter than Shesterkin right now, right, Alex? What one goal out of the 2 games?
Yeah, I would say he's back to being his normal self, but he also hasn't really been tested. Like the Rangers are throwing a blanket over the Devils. The Devils can't do anything right now, so I'll pause on just fully heaping praise on Igor. He's looked great for the last month, but he's just doing his job right now. He hasn't really been tested as much as he has in playoffs past.
Dave, who do you got? Who do you think could, if there's a team out there that can take out Boston?
Dude, this hurts me to say as a Penguins fan, watching them lose to the Rangers in 7 last year. It might be the Rangers. They're Boston's firing on all cylinders. Obviously, Bergeron's a big loss, but Marchand's like the heart of that team. And if they're going to get scrappy and they're going to have to, it's going to fall on him from a leadership standpoint. He's been there before. But the Rangers went up against a pretty damn good Penguins team last year and just out-hockeyed them. It's all I can say. And they're up 2-0. They shouldn't be. Win in 5. The Boston series maybe goes 7. I mean, I don't know. Like I was thinking about this coming in, and I was going to say that I don't think anything can beat Boston at all, even themselves. I think that they just might just walk right into a cup. But the Rangers might. They again, hot goalie wins a 7-game series for sure.
Alex, as a New Yorker, is there a worse city to see win a championship than Boston? I mean, is it maybe Philly, but like it's those 2 teams, right? That's the worst of the 2 teams of that you never want to see win anything.
Yeah, it's really those 2 and then everyone else. I'll throw in just the Houston Astros. It's just like
that's
an asterisk on the side. I'll go Philly and then Boston. The Eagles winning a couple years ago. I wanted to just lock myself in my apartment and throw my phone out the window and smash my computer against the wall to not, hey, you can't reach me, you can't find me. Yeah, I'll go Philly then Boston.
I see. I think because I'm a Jet fan, I'm the opposite. I think the fact that you're a Giant fan helps you say Philly more because you got the Eagles. For me, I'm a Jet fan. I don't worry about the Phillies because I'm a Yankee fan. But I think Boston Red Sox, I think Patriots. So for me, it's definitely Boston more. I know Philly fans are like more disgusting out of the 2 as far as being vile.
Of course,
right? The only thing coming out of Philly is the standard.
Every podcast somehow.
I think Philly fans make it in pretty much every other day. But go ahead, Dave.
I hate Philadelphia fans more than anything in the entire world.
They're the worst.
Absolute worst fans ever. And we only play them in one sport that matters. It's hockey. That's it. Baseball, Pittsburgh hasn't had a team for 87 years. And football doesn't matter. I mean, it's AFC, NFC. The issue is I live in the middle of the damn state and have to deal with Eagles fans on a daily basis. And they're not fun people.
That's why, and I apologize for this, Alex. That's why I would root for the Patriots over the Giants, just because I got to deal with Giant fans rubbing it in my face that you guys win Super Bowls every 3 or 4 years, and I don't know any Patriot fans, so I don't have to hear the Patriot fans, brag about the dynasty. So
I never hated the Patriots. Every time my team played the Patriots, it gave me some of my best memories growing up. So I don't hate the Patriots at all.
You both, that's how I feel.
Okay, Gene.
So you know what? All right. So do we think so? Put the crystal ball out. Is Boston winning the cup?
You mean the future glasses?
The future, yeah. Bring out. The future glasses.
Whatever other stuff you came up with earlier.
Future glasses. Are the Boston Bruins winning the cup this year? Or can the Rangers really maybe take it to them in 7?
I'll go with other instead of Boston.
So if you would take the field over Boston,
I would take the field.
Same.
I would take the field, and not because I'm going to sit here and convince that there's a team better than Boston, because there isn't. But I've watched too much playoff hockey to just pick the favorite. Like I'm programmed to not pick the favorite in hockey.
All right. What is there a world in which we end up playing? Like, who do we get next round if we once we wrap up the Devils?
Islanders, Hurricanes, and
okay, so we don't.
We should beat either of those.
Well, yeah, I would say I think we got either.
Especially now with the Hurricanes, man. Fuck, they can't buy a break.
The Hurricane, right?
And down Svechnikov, Teravainen, Pacioretty. That's
right.
Brutal.
And one point about that S word that I'm not going to say, it's not because I think that it's definitely going to happen, but after seeing what happened last year, where I think the Rangers just ran out of gas, like by game 2-3 versus Tampa Bay, they had nothing left in the tank. If you want to try to win a cup, that's your ultimate goal. It's not just to win a series, it's winning a cup. You have to put away teams like what they're doing to the Devils. You have to put them away in 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You need a couple days to relax. By the time the Rangers played the Lightning last year, it looked like they had just come back from war.
Yeah.
And then they had to go face, one of the better dynasties in NHL history. So if they want to go deep, they need to finish off the Devils in max 5 games. And going in, I thought it was going to be a longer series. That Devils team looked like the Devils looked like they quit in game 2, smelling blood.
Yeah, I thought luckily I thought if we're lucky we get a sweep. We get a split in Jersey and then come back, maybe win 2 in New York and kind of go from there. I thought it was gonna be like a 6-game series. I didn't think it was gonna be like this and a hard fought 6-game series. Yeah. I mean, even if this goes 6 games, it doesn't feel like it's gonna be. It feels like a breeze. Go ahead,
you guys must be relieved that like Kane and Tarasenko didn't look very good.
No, but they look good now. They're playing well. They played well yesterday. They will score yesterday.
So far they've been great. So that must make you guys breathe a little easier.
That was Kane's best game as a Ranger by about 50%. Like not even close.
Yeah, I would say so. So you know what? Let's talk a little. Wait, hold on. What we got here? I got a couple of things I got to ask you real quick because I'm always curious about your take on certain things. You're a big time Yankee fan, a big time Giant fan, which that's the one spot I can't really get with you on. How do you feel about the Danny Dimes contract? You good with it?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think it's very easy as football fans to get wrapped up in the first number that they throw out when talking about football contracts. And it's so much the agents just wanting to fluff their feathers like peacocks and just brag about the deal they got for their clients. The deal that they gave Jones, I think, is a little bit overpaid. But when you look at the guaranteed money, it's fine. It's basically a 2-year deal. I think he's earned that, especially the combination of him and Dayball. Is it a lot of money? Yeah, but I think you're also paying for future performance. And, you look at the kind of help he had last year and then the kind of year he had. There were a lot of moments last year where it's like, wait a minute, if we got this guy help, he could be a $35 to $40 million year guy.
Yeah.
The other part that needs to be said is quarterback contracts are so far out of control that what they're paying for Jones is what like the 8th to 12th best quarterback in the league is, probably 10 to 15 realistically. Mm-hmm. That's like what Jones is. So
you think he's that high? You think he's top 10?
No, I don't think he's top 10 yet. I would put him between 10 and 12. And I think
I still think that's I feel like that's giant colored glasses. I feel like.
No,
yeah, but to Alex's point, like how many times last year do we see a Giants game starting and it's like, wait, who's their receiver? Who's this guy?
That's guy? Very fair point. And there's gonna be a little bit of pressure now because you got Waller added. You're gonna probably add somebody in the draft, maybe Jordan Addison, maybe the receiver from Ohio State. Is that what you guys going? Well, yeah, Waller's gonna be a beast for you guys.
Big.
What do you think they go receiver in the first round?
I think it very much depends on who falls to them. I'm a little worried about going receiver in the first round because so many of the guys that are being mocked to them are other guys who play the slot who are 5'9", 5'10", and we don't need more of those guys. If you're going to go wide receiver in the first round, it has to be a guy who you think has wide receiver 1 potential. So I'm a little hesitant with that. I think they either go wide receiver or O-line in the first round.
O-line, okay.
Yeah, interior.
Ohtani, is he going to be a Yankee next year?
No.
Fucking thank God.
No.
Is he going to be an Angel? But is he going to be an Angel?
Another one?
No, I think he is going to stay on the West Coast and not go to the Angels. Or maybe not even stay on the West Coast. I don't think he's coming to New York, period.
Okay.
I don't think
as a Blue Jays fan, I would.
I don't
cry.
think. You think he's going? You think he's going to Toronto?
No, I said as a Blue Jays fan, I would cry if he went to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with that.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine,
come on, bro?
Well, I'll tell you what. You had a video during the All-Star break last year where you were giving it to an Angels fan. You say, "Can you imagine having two generational talents and coming in last place every year?" And which is so spot on. Like I feel so bad for Angels.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And their solution every offseason is like, "Oh, let's throw more money. Let's get Rendon in here for a shit ton of money." It's like you don't need that.
No,
and he hasn't been great, but
he's been hurt a lot too.
Mike Trout,
he's fighting with fans.
Mike Trout might be go down as one of the greatest players. Well, he will if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Ever to play. He hasn't won a playoff game.
He's barely even been in the playoffs. You
Yeah.
got to be in the playoffs to win a game. He's barely even been in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's played 3, right? And a playing game.
Maybe if that. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure.
Anyways, it's brutal.
Bumgarner. Do the Yankees take a shot at Bumgarner?
No.
Is that you don't want them to, or you don't think they will?
Kind of both. I actually wouldn't even mind because I
Clark Schmidt's been horrible, bro. I mean, give me anybody for Clark Schmidt.
Well, Clark. My opinion on Clark Schmidt is
he's just not ready.
Well, I think he is ready to be a major league reliever. I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
I just don't think he's a starter. If they put him in the bullpen and he could just throw his best stuff for 15 to 30 pitches, inning or two, he would mow guys down. I'm not sure if he's a starter. He's definitely not ready to be a starter.
Definitely not. No.
Bumgarner, I mean, you got to love the acumen, but Bumgarner hasn't been good since
Arizona.
You know,
as a Jays fan, I want the Yankees to get Bumgarner. So
and start him in Toronto.
BP home runs.
It would be if they got Bumgarner. It'd be one of the surliest rotations of all time.
Oh yeah,
it definitely.
Him and Cole and that'd be a silly rotation.
Has Cole ever smiled?
He said this year it was his mission to not let things bother him. So he's pitching well. Whatever that means. Keep
under ERA, ERA under 1, 4-0. He's been lights out. But Bumgarner, he's 69 starts with Arizona, 5.23 ERA. This year he's had it before he got designated. It was 10.26 ERA.
Was that all?
I thought it was worse too, but it's for someone who was so dominant for so long in San Francisco, and he's not even really that old. Not old enough to where everything just falls off after the following year. I'm kind of sad to see him just not be able to be the pitcher he was in San Francisco. I mean, even if not that good, at least kind of age gracefully. It's like I feel like everything fell off like the very next year.
Yeah, there's no more tread on those tires.
Yeah,
it's just
he's only 33. That's
what I'm saying. He's not old enough to have completely fallen apart. And again, it wasn't this year that it was really that bad. He's been bad for the last 2 or 3 years. So really, it was like his year 30. That was really where things started to kind of like tick back. Start ticking down for him. So
you know who he reminds me of actually. Take a guess at how old Todd Gurley is.
I know he had so many knee injuries. I'm sure he's not as old as
29, isn't he?
Todd Gurley, who hasn't really played in 2 or 3 years, is 28 years old.
27, 28.
Yeah, wow.
It's sometimes not even about age. It's just miles on the car.
I'm saying there's a lot of wear and tear on those knees. He had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of surgeries. That was the one thing that scared me when the Jets were looking at OBJ is he's got a couple of big time injuries, like not like 2 or 3 like season enders, and that's why I didn't get the Baltimore thing, because in the Baltimore he's got to be the guy. With the Jets he could have been just a guy. That's why I was surprised that he didn't really try to hold out for the Jet. Maybe they weren't going to go after him. Aaron Rodgers thing. Let's talk some more New York. We'll get all the New York sports questions out of the way now. Aaron Rodgers, is this finally going to happen? I mean, like what? I'm at the point now where I want to say just kick rocks, bro. But not really him. It's more the Packers. But I'm kind of tired of waiting.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
It's super weird. It's
getting a little weird. It'd be a real shame if it didn't happen,
I feel like you don't want it to happen, and that's not nice.
I actually don't really care.
With the little brothers, let us have something.
Yeah, I don't really care either way. I think at this point, it would kind of be funny either way, because if it happens, it's the most predictable ending. Like, there's just no way this works out. His shenanigans with New York and the Jets, just like how the Jets normally operate. And then if he doesn't go, then it's, wait a minute. He was on the Jets, and then he's like, I'm fine with this situation. This situation, I'm going to be happy with how this ends, no matter what.
Wait, so you think if he gets to the Jets, it's going to be a disaster?
I think at times it might be great, but I don't think it's going to work out the way that both sides think it's going to work.
I don't think
a lot would have to go right.
I don't think we'll actually win a Super Bowl, but I think we can get to like a nice run in the playoffs with him. And that would, I mean,
I don't know. Even if they have him, I'm still looking. There's like seriously 5 to 7 teams in the AFC that I would still put ahead of the Jets. Just in the AFC.
Gene, didn't you just say, you told us last week that basically in order to get Aaron Rodgers, it's only worth it if you're expecting Super Bowl.
Oh, I agree. My thing is because I don't like Aaron Rodgers. So I don't like Aaron Rodgers forget about him being my quarterback. I just don't like him. There's something about him that just irks me. He's so douchey. Again, he's a good locker room guy. To me, it's not worth giving up a first-round pick or even a second-round pick if we're not getting to the Super Bowl. Right. But I don't think the team looks at it that way. I think the Jets and the NFL would look at it like, as long as their Jets become reputable and they make a nice run in the playoffs, it wouldn't be enough for me. I'd still be like, we gave up too much for a guy that's going to be here for 2 years and then not even get us to the Super Bowl. For me, if they're only going to be here 2 years and I'm giving up a first, second, or whatever, anything more than a third, that needs to be a Super Bowl for me. I'm talking about where I think the Jets would be happy, and I think the league would be. I think the league wants it to work. Why would they? Why have another successful franchise in New York, and also have Aaron Rodgers be able to kind of go out on a high note? I think the league would definitely want it to work.
It would be fun. I hope it happens. It would be fun. It would bring more relevancy to New York football, but bring the circus to town.
We've always got the circus. Ever since Tim Tebow.
It would be a circus.
So let's talk a little rom-coms. I just saw this the other day. You actually got a film coming out.
I do.
How did this happen?
I do. Really, really crazy story. In February, over President's Day weekend, I got an email that this movie producer reached out to me, and the lead of their movie had dropped out. He got a bigger role doing something, and they were about to start filming in 6 days. And this was like a hungover Sunday morning. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll audition for it. And he said, hey, you just have to send an audition by end of the day, and we'll let you know. Like, we're working on a tight schedule. I got it, which is pretty kind of crazy. Like, I did a short film 2 years ago, and I was between jobs. I thought it would be fun to do. I haven't done anything with it since. I didn't apply for this, whatever. I started filming 6 days later. And we filmed for 17 out of 20 days, like 12 to 15-hour days in Long Island. And it should be coming out this holiday season. So kind of wild.
Where is it going to is it going to be a theater film? Where's it stream?
Not sure yet. They're working on distribution part now. So there's still a lot up in the air, but it was a pretty cool experience. I had never done anything like that in my life.
Matt's our trained actor on the squad. So Matt's been in a bunch of stuff.
Get off my corner, Alex.
Yeah,
we're about to duke it out, Matt. We're about to duke it out.
Alex got you were like a king or a prince or something. Not a king, I'm sorry, a prince that was trying to like leave the royal family. It was almost very much like Coming to America kind of vibe.
Yeah. That's what all my buddies joke about. It's Coming to America meets Prince Harry meets Lion King. Like it's it's a combination of those three, but really fun to do. Like, learn so much doing. I mean, even felt like, man, if I could redo that first week, by the end of it, I was feeling pretty good. So
is this something you think you might be doing a little bit more of?
We'll see. Right. I mean, I enjoyed
comedy, it. Alex, buddy comedy. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, say less.
We'll redo. Farley movie. What the hell am I talking about?
Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy. Redo Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's it called again?
It's called Royal Runaways. There isn't a release date yet. They're still sorting out distribution stuff, but it should be coming out later in 2023.
All right, great. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for stopping by, man, and talking a little hockey with us. We don't get to talk hockey very often. Quick question,
Alex. I need more of you. I need to talk hockey.
Yeah, man. Whatever season's going on, I'm gonna
say Alex is well versed in pretty much every sport, so we're gonna have Alex on every once in a while. We talked about having him come back periodically. So he'll be back, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Alex, you know what? I love the videos, man. You do a great job on Instagram, man. Keep it up. Always funny, and yet it's got that sports edge to it, so we love it. And good luck with the film. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then, so we can get a little bit better idea when it's coming out. And one quick question: are the Yankees? What are we doing this year? Series?
Yeah, but we have another move to make. We have to.
Agreed. One other quick question, because I forgot to ask you this before.
Yeah.
Who's our closer of the future? Is it Marinacci? Because it's not. Clay
I think
Holmes.
it's Wandy. I think it's Wandy
Really?
Peralta. I think he comes out and he's got that dog in him. You know,
he does, but
like he's crazy enough to be a closer, which I like.
I feel like he's not shut down enough, though. I want a guy that's going to come in and shut down.
I think last playoffs, like the expression I always like, are they in my circle of trust? Clay Holmes isn't in my circle of trust.
No.
Ron is in my circle of trust, but I don't think Wandy's in my circle of trust.
Marinacci is just a little too seasoned. He needs to be a little bit more seasoned, I think. He's a little young.
I would also be fine with Mike King. You know,
Mike King.
We know what he's like. He's coming off an injury. One of my good friends, so I'll vouch for him always. I'll go either Wandy or Mike King.
Mike, you know, I actually interviewed his sister. His sister's a really good singer. If you ever
yeah,
seen
Olivia. Yeah.
Olivia. She did his walkout music. So we've actually had her on the show at times.
Big series this weekend.
The old show.
Big series this weekend.
I
gotta be honest. I'm not worried about Toronto. Are you?
What the fuck?
Alex?
Watch your mouth.
No. They could go and pick up 3 or 4 arms, and then I'll be worried about Toronto.
I gotta tell you, our starting pitching hasn't looked as good as I thought it was gonna look so far.
No. And you know
Barrios will get better though.
You know what?
He's been really good last 2 starts.
You never want to fat shame in sports. Alex Manoah. If you're gonna be that big, you got to pitch better.
Yeah, he's been fucking brutal.
It's like CeCe. Like you can't really fat shame him because he's going winning Cy Youngs. If you're gonna be that big, there better be a reason for it.
Who's the one I'm thinking of that played for the Met? He played for every team in the league pretty much. Who am I blanking out his name?
I was gonna say Edwin Jackson, but
no.
Bartolo Colon.
He was a big one too, and he played for pretty much every team in the league. And he was adequate. He was adequate at times. So yeah, pretty much.
Manoah will get back on track. He's pitching today against Cole.
Yeah, he is.
I'm sorry about that one. That's going to be a rough guy.
He is.
I think how many home runs does Vladdy have? I think he's got a couple off Cole, doesn't he?
Yep, he does. He does for sure. By the way, I hate to pivot and pick on someone else, but Joey D has been real quiet in this baseball conversation. Huh? Joey D, man. And don't be afraid to use that voice. They gave you a microphone for a reason, Joey D.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
I mean, at least you guys got rookie bets in the outfield.
Yeah, listen, I can't complain. The Boston's won a lot of games over the last several years. I mean, I can't complain too much, but yeah, it sucks sitting here with Yankee fans hearing all this crap. And by the way, my wife and her whole family are Yankee fans, so this has been like an interfamily rivalry for a whole bunch of years. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, I'm just, what the hell can I say, man? They keep, it's not fun, but pitching has been absolutely atrocious.
Even worse than that. And I'm sure Dave could tell you how this feels too. They're not trying to win.
No,
like they're not trying to win.
No, clearly.
So
and that's,
you get what you pay for, you know?
Yeah. And I'm frustrated because like I said, the pitching's been there, letting, JD go, and JD wanted to go anyway. He's good friends with a guy that I work with. They played together. So I always got the inside stuff on what he's doing and stuff. So I already knew even the year before he was already ready to leave, but then the team kind of was playing well. So he stuck it out for an extra year. And that was pretty much it. But yeah, Boston, they go through that where the management and some teams do this where they're just like, except for Yankees, obviously, where they kind of just, I don't want to say tank, but they're just kind of not really trying until they kind of pick up on a couple of young guys and like, all right, now we'll start investing again. But it's kind of, it sucks because they got a lot of good players. It's just, they're not really.
They traded a perennial like MVP candidate because they didn't want to pay him.
Yep.
And they're one of the richest teams.
I know.
In the fucking league.
I can't understand why sometimes they'll pay guys and sometimes
even the Yankees are starting to get scared of going over that luxury tax.
Alex Manoah in right field instead of Mookie Betts. That is fucking
did Nutting buy the Red Sox?
Who?
Bob Nutting. That's what we do here in Pittsburgh. That's what we do. We just. Hey, you know what? You know who was a pirate? Fucking Garrett Cole.
Yep. And the Yankees could have had him a lot cheaper before the Astros, and we didn't want to trade some guy that became a bust anyway. So what's the difference? So
So It's worse this year because we're almost 30 games into the season, right? We're almost a month in and the Pirates haven't gone on an 11-game skid yet. So I'm predicting like they're going to lose 65 out of 80 come June, July, mid-August, something like that. And it's just going to go completely downhill.
Don't worry. You got Kenny Pickett this year for the football season. You guys will bounce back.
I will say that in Boston's defense, I will say this. It's hard to give a 29-year-old shortstop an 11-year deal.
They're right about that.
These contracts are getting ridiculous where they're 10 years and nobody's playing out these full contracts.
Like year 4 or 5 of that deal is going to be rough for Bogarts, I think.
I know. By the way, Gene, just before we leave, just so you know, since this whole show we've been going through, I've been kind of keeping track of your paper stacking. And I just did it because it's just kind of what I do. So that's your 46th time you just did that. Right?
I didn't do it 46 times.
I have a tally up here on my notepad. Every time you do it, I just hit my 1 and hit my 1. I've been doing it the whole 47. It's just to make you conscious of it. I'm just messing with you, bro.
All right. Well, guys, on that note, we're at 2 o'clock, so we do got to go. Alex, thank you for joining us today. Make sure you go check out him on Instagram. Very, very funny man. Knows his sports. Can't wait to have him back. And make sure you go check out the film Royal Runaways.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get all the contact information all the information for that, so you guys can see it. We'll have Alex will be back between now and then. So guys, for Alex, for Joey, for Matt, for Dave, I am Gene. Have a great today, a better tonight, and we will see you next time on Monday. We get getaway day.
Let's go. Appreciate it, guys.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.